Markets right now poised to open higher, though we're still below yesterday's low here when it comes to the S&P 500. If you take a look at the NASDAQ, though, we're still more or less actually making lower highs from the pre-market high yesterday, then again a lower high yesterday intraday. As of right now, today's pre-market high still has yet to, much like with the SPY, eclipse the high from the prior session. So let's keep a look here on the NASDAQ. That being said, NASDAQ still, much like the SPY, poised to open higher compared to where we closed yesterday. And the Dow also gapping up here, obviously a little bit lighter on volume. We'll keep an eye on USO as we have been as of late. USO actually giving up none of its move yesterday, but some of its post-market moves. So we'll have to wait and see. Right now, roughly flat open, what it's looking like here for USO. We're hearing tons of earnings calls coming through. I'm just seeing comments right now from the SE call, which I guess began at 7:30. One of many earnings names that are going to be in focus today. And one earnings name we have to talk about here is RIOT, because Riot here kind of disappointing or mixed earnings, definitely larger than expected loss per share. But then we get reports that this deal they announced is actually a deal with Anthropic, valued at $9 billion, because they just said a major client. So that's an interesting look here for RIOT. Whole bunch of other earnings to go over, including Hims and Hers, Rocket Lab, ASTS. But before we get into that, we'll do some quick housekeeping. We're going to be getting at 10 a.m. existing home sales and the NY Fed credit report. That'll be at 11, the NY Fed credit report at 12 p.m. Comments from Goolsby. And then you're going to get President Trump on camera in the evening. So that'll be after the market closes. But yeah, I mean, pretty light day for economic data ahead of a much heavier back half of the week. With Wednesday, you're going to get CPI, Thursday, PPI, and Friday, the University of Michigan consumer sentiment, as well as retail sales data. So as always, Sharif, lots to get into. Good morning. Happy Tuesday morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, Adair. Thank you for asking. Lots to talk about today, guys. SpaceX back to its IPO price of $135-ish. Eli Lilly continuing to expand its weight loss medication globally. And Palo Alto Networks and CrowdStrike getting into all-time highs as both those guys knock, well, some of them are past 100% up on a year. And then we got space reports here. Rocket Labs down 4%. AST Space Mobile up 2.89. So a tale of two different stories there. And as Adira mentioned, Riot Blockchain absolutely ripping it up on a great deal with Anthropic for obviously hosting their Hims with their report down almost 6%. Plug Power up almost 13. Then you have C Limited. Adara alluding to the call there. They're a big 8.7%. And then On Holdings, On, not a company that I really care for their shoes. And it looks like as if maybe some other people don't care here too. 16 2/3% in the negative.
Yeah, I have to mention a story that just came out here as well here. IBM apparently deploying NVIDIA's HGX B300 cluster on the IBM cloud. So NVIDIA, IBM tie-up, good look here for IBM. NVDA, of course, with its own story. We already heard reports of this yesterday, but that $500 billion AI financing deal with a whole bunch of major financial institutions, including Goldman and KKR. We'll likely get into that more towards the bell. But in the meantime, the men that will guide you towards the bell when it comes to trading, we have Sean and we have Joe. Good morning and happy Tuesday to both of you.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
What did my wife send me over here?
Who's here?
Oh, practice in a cathedral. Oh, where is this? This looks like a pretty sick place
That
to
looks
play.
like a.
There's one in Burlington.
Looks like but see all the logos on there? It looks like a European rink, to be honest.
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah,
Yeah.
These guys look like they're from Europe
from
here. Wow, someone practice in a cathedral.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sick. What's up, everybody? Yeah, we've got Joe. Andre, you just got to turn Joe off in my ear if you do get a second.
I do have my mind.
How's it going, man?
Everything's good, man. I mean, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, we had some unfortunate news with Neil today.
Neil with the day off today, but that's all right. I'm sure we'll get. Listen, man.
He hurt his elbow pitching to 8-year-olds.
Stop, Katina.
That's it. Okay. Listen, you're gonna catch some flack. It's that simple.
Of course he has.
We give him a little.
I made a joke in our chat.
Yeah.
So he knows this is not like I said I heard it on the radio on the way in. Trader gets elbow tendonitis and has to miss a day of trading.
I hope there's more substance to this.
There's not.
There's not.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't even know he wasn't going to be here. So that's how the
what I had to say to him, I was like, man, Schneider was on the phone early. Obviously, John Schneider, the Toronto Blue Jays manager. But no, as for Riot,
he's the oldest, youngest man here.
Yeah, I mean, he is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The guy, he gets injuries, man. But he said that from day one. He said it earlier since his athletic career, he was always slightly injured. Well, I mean, he was.
No, I don't mean that. No,
Yeah,
no, it's just funny about the pitching.
Yeah, well,
that's all. That's all.
Man.
I throw 300 pitches a week, I guess.
Yeah.
But everyone's different.
Well, I think because he hurt his Achilles. He tore his Achilles playing with his daughter, and then now playing baseball.
That's funny. Carpal tunnel on your mouse hand. Be careful.
You got to.
That is another thing that's
the
true.
Timbits leagues. You got to stay away from.
What's up to MF Dane Generous?
What's up, MF?
Over there.
But no, in all seriousness, Riot up here today looking pretty good. I mean, a 20-year deal, 191 megawatts computing to Anthropic. We talk about a lot of these Bitcoin mining companies transitioning into cloud compute, Neoclouds. So, I mean, hey. What are the margins going to look like on this is one of the questions that I'm going to be asking, but 20-year deal, it's pretty lengthy if you ask me, so not too bad. One of the bigger names starting to, I guess, officially see what's going on in regards to this whole AI trade, swaying away from Bitcoin mining and getting involved with some AI tools. So
yeah, good, as I just said, not a great report there. Actually, revenue 174 versus 153, that looks a little bit better. But it's that 191 megawatt data center lease. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but
they got smoked on EPS.
It's a nice move.
It was a big miss on EPS. So
yeah, but I mean, how far? So we were at 23. It's just because I don't know how this moves the needle really here for them, but we'll have to wait to see what's going on with Riot blockchain and a couple other names moving around. Super Micro's up a little bit today. SMCI. So I know Neil. Actually, speaking of Neil, he was looking at this yesterday as well. Every time someone asks him about SMCI, he just says the answer Dell, which is kind of interesting because Dell's been on a move, and so has SMCI there. Earnings release after the bell today, August the 11th. So we'll see what happens with SMCI. And, if this data center craze is still going to be a thing, SMCI gets ready to go. Marissa thinks that was in Switzerland, so I think you're right about that. Davos, that's where Neil went. Davos, Switzerland. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's our correspondent down there. So, and then NVIDIA today as well, a couple more news there. Oh, we just heard about, Adair just dropped that story to us about IBM. They're linking up a little bit with, it's coming right back in there with some new NVIDIA chips or GPUs there, but that's come right back in as well. So we'll have to wait. I mean, the NASDAQ right now up 0.35. The story yesterday afternoon is, I started shorting it for some reason, but we still did okay yesterday. But this move on SpaceX, wow, into the afternoon, just absolutely, took off. It was a pretty like nothing kind of day in SpaceX. I mean, there was some good opportunities, obviously, but when you open up, the day around 135, you get into that lows of 130, which we nailed yesterday. And then, coming back into today, what do we think about holding this 137 area right here for SpaceX? Let's wait to see if that is something that we can come up with here, 137 and change there on SPCX. So something definitely to look forward to there. But yeah, that should be a good mover.
Yeah.
Joe's having iced coffee. You've decided to switch it up a little bit there. I know I hear the ice going, and it's like makes me want to have.
Yeah, I mean,
some
high quality. Well, I make it like so. I put the cubes in. We got the little ice tray and everything along those lines.
Yeah. You gotta put those cubes.
You gotta
get
there. Those cubes.
ON. What are you not buying any of those shoes over there, my guy?
No, I'm not buying any of those shoes.
ON.
I like the look of SpaceX. Just to touch on this quickly. I mean, look at the volume really start to pick up here. So you have the release date, but then if you ask me, the more volume supporting this up move, the more I would classify it as genuine, and I think there could be a little bit more substance to it than just somewhat of a rebound and a recovery from just consecutive selling. So up to $138 yesterday, 39 almost, and at 138.74 right now. So hey, I would like to see this thing climb back up into that 150 marker for sure. So I was happy to grab a little bit more just before the earnings report at 120. So
yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I mean it's and here's this. I like SpaceX. I think it'll be. I mean, as I said, I have a joke like any day that's ending in Y. It seems like we're trading SpaceX. I mean, it has some good opportunities. Yeah, gapping down after Q2 earnings here. This ON, not doing great there. Company guided 3.47 to 3.56 when the estimates were at that high side there. So not a great guide for ON as Roger Federer and company there get hit. I mean, I don't think it's a surprise. We've seen Nike been in the sort of the doldrums for a minute as well. Right? So, Lulu. Yeah, I mean, it's just On is a little different, obviously, but yeah, maybe more compares with the athleisure. So I think you might be right about Lululemon and On, but there that goes now. And so, you know, even some of these newer names that were once like, oh, the problem with Nike is all this competition. Well, maybe now the problem with On is all this competition as well, right? Because once you get a established brand, then you start fighting everybody else. And this goes all the way back to May of 24. This is the thing about the stock market, man. The more, you know, the older I get, which you can see is happening every day over here, the more I think that just investing in the index is the right way of going. Because like you could have been smart as you know what, investing in ON. And I'll take, you know, Kramer says, you know, individuals can beat the market by buying stocks. That's never been proven. But at the end of the day, it's just about the fact is some stocks, if you don't get out, you know, at the right times, it's much more of a managed situation at the end of the day. And I just think that if you are someone that's actively trading in a portfolio, then you have to be careful because like looking at something like the SPY or the Qs or, you know, anything, the Dow, I mean, you know, you're not going to zoom out. And I mean, sure, there's been times when, you know, you can go back and maybe the market's at the same spot it was 2 years ago. I mean, if we can go back to the financial crisis and things like that. But, you know, this is what I was saying about like, if you were smart enough to buy On holdings down here back in April, but then you didn't actively manage your account, then you're still flat, you know, on that stock. Or maybe you got some out on the top side, maybe you got some out on the downside, maybe you averaged in. Who knows what your average price is. But right here on the SPY, that's 520, no matter what, when you bought it there. You know, was it back, and here's a month later, right? So, or a year later, back in April, it's still that same 520. But we've had such a nice run in the market that's what it's like. Every time I look at some stocks, it's like, I don't even want to compare it to the S&P sometimes because it just makes you feel silly.
Yeah.
You know, we could have, instead of sitting in Tesla or instead of sitting in any of these stocks, we could have just pumped forward and bought the index. But
it helps eliminate a lot of the noise.
Well, that's right? What I'm, yeah, exactly. You don't have to worry about like these peaks and valleys. And then I think also when you're invested in indexes, the strategy is more set. Because you're just like, I'm buying the S&P 500 and your plan is to always hold it forever. You know, these stocks, you get sort of in your feelings sometimes.
I had one of my good friends message me yesterday. He said, what do you think about HIMS? And I said, and I simply replied, what do you think about HIMS?
Right.
Right? Like, again, I told him, man, don't get involved. I'll show you the text message. I said, literally, don't get involved in all of that noise and just every paycheck, put $300 into the NASDAQ.
Right.
It doesn't matter, up, down, sideways, just continuously do that. And then 10 years from now, can be a completely different story opposed to investing in a name like On or Hims and Hers and stuff like that, the Lululemons of the world. And also for me, it's a little bit tough to, I mean, we talk about this every day and we're involved in the ecosystem, we're embedded in it. It's just really difficult for me to wrap my head around the fact is, what am I doing messing around with Lululemon and Nike and On-Ons of the world when you have this whole infrastructure build out? But again, that's because we're involved in this every day and we see.
We're a problem.
Right? So I mean, at the end of the day, I would just, hey, if you're not going to be doing your due diligence, if you're not involved in the world and you're looking to just invest your money, stay away from those speculative assets like the Hims and Hers.
It's like what I told Adara, I mean, 100% great advice. So I told Adara and Sia.
Yeah.
If you put your $300, like you said, away a month or whatever you're saying, a paycheck every 2 weeks, whatever it happens to be, there, you'll be a millionaire before you know it. Like, honestly. And by the time you're 50 or 60 years old, I mean, we can do the math. I could ask these LLMs.
As for Sia, she's 20-something years old.
Same as Adara, bro.
Yeah, exactly. If you start now and just put away and just eliminate, like, yeah, you can have your one-off stock that can work for you.
The power of compounding is absolutely ridiculous.
It's insane.
Okay, they're getting bored behind us. We have another question to ask right here. Poor Sharif surfing the gram over there. What's going on, Sharif? Don't sleep on IBM. Back to $300. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I really like the stock. I mean, this has been one. So I got lucky and bought it the first time down here. And then as we were just talking about, didn't do jack all when it went all the way back up and then let it fall all the way there. So, that one great buy that we had down there was able to been bought at even better prices than we got. And then now it's right back up to the upside. So look, I said this yesterday, I think, and you and I are probably like-minded here. We like some IBM, we like some Google for the quantum plays. Yeah. I think IBM just does continue to work. Support from the government in the quantum space, as well as, getting hit a little bit on worries that SaaSmageddon, some of their, I forget what their product is called there, starts with a C, but you know, that was going to be diluted by some of these LLMs and this coding and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I like IBM. I think with a 3 or 4% dividend. I'm not sure. Let me see how expensive it is quickly here. IBM, International Business Machines. All right, so short flow of just 3.9%. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Look how cheap that is, 19 and 21.
Oh.
You know, so, you know, you get some good forward PEs. This is actually cheaper than the current market multiple.
Mm-hmm.
So market multiple around 22 right now, as far as I last checked. I mean, market multiple is actually changing because of the S&P 500 and all the earnings. So we have to probably get reweighted there. It's been such a great earnings season, actually, if you look at the numbers, the percentage of companies that are beating and what those numbers look like. And you put it like a 20 times multiple on those numbers, and you'll get an ES price target of higher than where it is right now. So I still think the market has some maturation to go through over the next little while. But yeah, I like that IBM call. I think that's a smart one. Absolutely. Would you be IBM or Google? I would still be Google.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I think there's something to think about, but I would say right now, just because of IBM's depressed price, I think you can get in now on IBM, and it'd be a good one there. So.
There's a small cap. Before we send it over to the desk, I'm sure Sharice's looking at this one. PLAG here, PLAG to the top side, up over 100% since the open. So 50 million shares traded so far this morning. So I'm sure the guys in the chat and Casey also looking at this one. All right, let's send it over to the desk, see what they got going.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk here about one of those earnings plays that is in focus, but I also want to mention here JOBY, Joby. A little bit of a move here. They did have a catalyst. They've acquired a defense tech firm called Resonant Sciences for roughly $500 million, significantly expanding their defense business. Apparently, Resonant makes $100 million plus per year in TTM revenue, which is up 40% year over year. So that's the JOBY. Look, now I know Sharif, like this is completely off the dome, but I know you follow Joby. Do you think this is something that has the potential, I mean, having not read too much into it now, to be a needle mover for JOBY?
Well, it's what I've been talking about on the midday show for a long time. I said, why does this company not throw its hat into the military application ring? It is one of the most quickest ways to recognize revenue. We're in a very, very belligerent world right now. We're definitely advancing in how we conduct military operations. It stood like as like the most obvious avenue. Then you see Archer throwing their hat into that ring. It was like, where is Joby at? And then Anduril yesterday coming out with a very, very specific eVTOL looking kind of aircraft, which is going to have air-to-air capabilities. It's going to be able to kind of act as a wingman for the current fighter aircraft. So this made pure sense to me. I know that the stock is dropping typically when you make acquisitions. They do. But this is something that I've been calling for, Adair.
Yeah, you got to almost wonder, with all of the context that you just provided there, Sharif, if they time this intentionally, kind of while everybody else is talking about it. Either way, I mean, I think it's an interesting look here for JOBY. We're going to talk about one of these earnings plays now that I believe ON was the one we were going to talk about here. So this one just running to the downside, unfortunately, looks like we're going to break that $32 low. This chart looks nasty, and this earnings report kind of mixed.
It is mixed, exactly. There was some good here, but there was also some concerns. First of all, you missed consensus expectations for sales, about 850 million Swiss francs. That's up 13.5% year over year, but it was not good enough for the market. Now, look, currency is a bit of a headwind for them, so they make money in other currencies. They transfer back into Swiss francs. Swiss franc is very strong at the moment, as you may know, so they lose money in that regard. So a bit of a currency headwind there. Gross margins surged 390 basis points. Guys, this is a physical product that they're able to make 65.9% gross margins on. That's like 10% lower than NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is kind of in a world on its own. So that was pretty good to me anyway. Apparel segment also kind of growing. So a second moat for them, not just shoes. That grew at 56.2% constant currency. Record DTC channel sales. So, you know, you have to make a decision as an apparel and a footwear manufacturer, right? Do you want to take the lower margin with the wholesale? Do you go that three-wall route? Or do you go direct to consumer like Nike tried and failed? Well, they're doing it, and they're doing it a lot better than Nike. That grew 34.3% year over year, and now it's bringing in a little bit less than half of their revenue. 45.7% is what they're bringing in from the DTC. But as Sean mentioned, there was a bit of a blip here. They did miss their near-term endless consensus for the guide to Dara, and that's probably why they're down aggressively.
Yeah, I mean, ON. I know you guys kind of talked about this one a little bit. How do you feel about this stock here? Or again, any sympathy plays like the Nikes, like the Lulus that do exist?
You know what I mean? I didn't even look at a Lulu yet, but you have a little bit of a note there.
Yeah, so I'm just reading here. I mean, to add to Sharif's point, I mean, they are taking market share from Adidas and Nike, but that's what you expect, right? We talk about this all the time, just the fact that when you do own the majority of it, you get chewed away by some of these companies up and coming. But they're also expecting full year net sales to be in the range of 3.47 billion Swiss francs to 3.56. So there's an increase, but I mean, adjusted terms down 17% increase in the March quarter. Listen, I think it's a tougher play. It doesn't look great right now, but I just think that's the narrative in the retail space. And if we zoom out a little bit, it's pretty volatile. I mean, we can head over to a weekly as well and see what we got going on. IPO is back here in September of 2022, so still relatively new, but you're down 50% off of the highs. And if we go through some of the other names that we can compare it to, like the Nikes of the world, who, I don't know, I was saying this to Sharif the other day as well. What is Nike's best bet at this point? Is it to go private? I don't know, because you're down 76%, and I don't think you can ever recover fully from that, regardless of what happens, right? They've gone through the prime. I guess the peak of what the brand had the ability to grab from a market share standpoint. It's probably still the most popular brand on the planet, but there's only so much you can do. Same thing here with Lululemon, down 74%. But then you also have other competitors stepping into the market. I understand that these guys are wearing their shoes, their footwear, but then you also have the Aloes of the world where they're mixing their bag. You got the Lulus once again getting into shoes, and then you have Gymshark who are just who are continuing to expand but still private. So it's an extremely competitive space, and it's just something that I don't know if I'm overly interested in, regardless of how good some of these numbers may be.
Yeah, I was just looking at stock like that Lulu here and was thinking to myself the same kind of thing, like, you know, they had that kitchen sink quarter and we sort of were talking about that. And I know we've been talking a little bit about Lululemon and sort of that rebound. And we talked about Target yesterday and how retail has been trying to get going. And I think that Walmart is probably a little underpriced where it is right now, considering I think the moat that Walmart has around them as well. And I think all that's been proven here with an ON, or we can even go up to Nike there, you know, with any of these stocks, is that there is no moat anymore. You know, you can come out with a new product, Hoka's or you know, new Nike shoes or whatever, and come up with all these new ideas. But at the end of the day, a shoe is a shoe. And I just think it's just such a tough business right now because of, honestly, Instagram and TikTok and all that. Things become like a fad, you know, and if you don't get part of that, it's like the Sydney Sweeney was what? Abercrombie? What is that? That was A&F, right? So, or was that A&E?
I thought it was American Eagle.
AEO, right? So American Eagle, so not A&F, right? So if you look at American Eagle, right? I know you and Sharif sort of had that fun bet there when that was happening, but it's just what winds up happening is it must have been right here when it was going parabolic. Was it? Or yeah, I think it was up to $30. Yeah, right. It was. You guys had that bet about 28, 29, whatever it was. Yeah. So it's just, you know, she gets announced as, you know, this spokesperson, all of a sudden picks up a little bit of steam on Instagram or whatever, you know, and then they had those videos with her out there and it's in the jeans and all that stuff. And then, you know, so that hype train comes in and then just a quarter later, right, it's off, you know? And then so it's like, okay, now who's that next sort of spokesperson? And is that even revolving around the product that they're selling, or is it just a hype?
It's a revolving door. Like, it's one day, like you said, you hit it on the head. One day you're hot, the next day you're not. Right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it a difficult space to be.
Were you around when there was that website, Hot or Not? That was like such a bad that was such a bad website. No, it was just like you just put random people's faces on there and you just go Hot or Not. It was like before the swiping and all that stuff.
Yeah, Hot or
not. Well, right now, we should have a segment like that.
Hot or Not.
Hot or Not. I'm trying to come up with some content.
That's good. The Hot or Not.
Yeah, then we swipe right or we swipe left.
On the stock.
Which way is this? If you think someone's your type, which way is the swipe? Is that right or left? I have no idea.
You know,
right, Joe.
Right.
Adira?
I think from music, when I hear people reference, I think left is no, right is yes, but I'm not positive.
So left, so swiping right on the screen, or you're swiping right?
You're swiping left if it's a no.
Yeah.
Yours. So
So
yours.
you get out of here. Yeah.
Right. Get out of here that way. Okay. I
There's no
get it.
swiping.
It'll be different when we're on the screens over here. U.S. fires on ship breaking its U.S. fires on ship breaking its blockade of Iran.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a strange headline. I guess it's just some more
See what USO
actionable.
is doing.
Yeah, that is exactly how the Wall Street Journal worded it. But yeah, basically just sounds like a ship broke through the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. fired at the ship.
Oh, U.S. fires on ship breaking its blockade of Iran. Okay, so yeah, it looks like, I mean, at the end of the day, thanks, Adara, it just seems like we are picking up right here on some escalation worries again. But I was talking about it, like gas prices, I mean, I don't know if you've seen that again, a little bit better around here these days, but back up over the last couple of days. I know your car takes that premium stuff. Absolutely.
I put
wild.
89 in because it's sub $2.
It's supposed to be 91 normally if the prices are better. Is that what
Yeah,
you
that's
use?
what I use. But I usually put 93 because it's more efficient. It lasts longer.
Yeah, I like.
So.
Yo, Randy. Is there protein? Eggs. Are they eggs from a box?
Scrambled?
Ooh, hard-boiled eggs from a box. Okay. Come on, Sharif. That's okay.
Come on.
Sharif was upset last week when it was only samosas. Remember?
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. What's up with pork prices? I actually went to Farm Boy, my guy.
Oh, yeah.
And we got 3 pork tenderloins.
Oh, you got that
for like $17, and they were really good, and they're Ontario pork and.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
You go to Farm Boy? Is there one up by you? Yeah. Oh yeah.
You go to Farm Boy too?
Joe told you about it, or? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, man. I told
No,
you,
Joe's been
man.
telling everybody. I've loved Farm Boy. Their burgers there.
I told you, my boy.
Shut up, my
Stop
God.
playing.
You
I
better
literally
honestly.
Man, I
Neil's
told
elbow
you
better
about
get repaired
those. I told
ASAP.
you about those, man.
I just hope Neil doesn't need Tommy John.
I'm like, hey, man, did you try?
Don't even
No,
start.
hold on,
I'll give you as
listen.
much credit as possible. Meatballs.
Yeah,
That's all about
the
you.
sausages.
You told. That's it.
The flat
That's
bird.
it.
The flat
Marissa,
bird. The
zoom
flat
in.
Birds,
I-
the flat. The
Yeah,
flat
you did.
bird.
No, you mentioned. I had them before, but you mentioned the lemon pepper.
Yeah,
I
the
give
lemon
that was
pepper,
credit. Fire on that
Did you
one.
try the Wagyu
veal did not try the Wagyu burgers.
Oh,
that was
alright,
yours
that's
as well.
alright, man.
Anyways, there's like a store here. It's like Whole Foods basically, and it's just it's literally my favorite store.
Yeah, it's it. You go have a day there.
Okay, Love Trader TV. When to bring Iren to your daily watch list? Yo, what's up, Gio?
Gio.
I like that name, man. Gio.
Yeah, Gio.
Love Trader, what's up, West Palm Beach, man? Talking about West Palm Beach. It's 30. It's like 100 degrees again here today. It's absolutely amazing.
Yesterday was
What do you mean,
muggy.
when bring Iren to watch list? I mean, yeah, we bring Iren to watch list when there's news. Is Iren in the watch list today? I thought I saw. No. Thanks.
right.
This is Bray Madeira. It's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Where are you going? You're going to go get some.
Well, you're gonna go over to the board there.
You can go.
man.
Oh, are you going to the board today?
And what do you mean? What do you mean
Okay,
today?
all right. I thought you were going to go get some of those boiled eggs over there. All right. Yeah, look, we actually talked about this yesterday, West Palm Beach, and that is that, and I think it's an interesting story with Riot today. Iren, we're talking about powering these data centers up. Sia, good morning. How are you? Oh, thumbs down? This is just not, is your elbow okay? How's your elbow? Oh, your family left. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but still, everything's still okay, but just not here. Yeah, okay. All right. So, anyways, I was going to say about Iren is that with these data center builds out and everything, and power still going to be an issue. I was thinking that Iren did have an opportunity to get back up to the upside. I'm a little disappointed there. After we had that flush out, it was situational awareness. It's so funny because last night I was thinking, I was like, I can never ever remember the name of that hedge fund, and I always ask it. Yeah, that's a good one, Leopold Lowe. But now I think I remembered situational awareness, and now I've got something else in my head with the Leopold Lowe. I like that one, Ashenberger, I think. But anyways, Brenner. Yeah, not Burger, Brenner. Joe's got me thinking about those burgers. $42 breaking out. So I think to answer your question there, West Palm, I said this yesterday. I like this stock. I think a break of this $43 area gets Iren going again. But I'm a shareholder here as well. Just pretty disappointed that we haven't got like a severe kind of bounce back, right? I think the best of breed in the space is going to be like a GE Vernova, and unfortunately, I chose Iren because I thought there was be some more juice to Iren, and maybe there's not. But actually, looking at this, Iren's kind of like down here near some of this support. GE Vernova is not too much higher. I think Constellation, with their boots in the ground a little earlier than all of these names, is going to be a winner as well. So I'm actually in both of these names, Constellation and IRN there. So yeah, a little bit more work needs to be done for me to figure out what the catalyst to get an IRN back there to the upside. But, you know, I like all that space. And I don't think that we're in late days at all as far as the data center. It's 8:30 already? Okay, let's go back over to the desk. We're having a lot of fun here this morning, a lot of good talk. Hope you guys like the show. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Make sure you get the watch list ASAP. And this is what's on my sticky note so far. Nothing. So we're going to find out some good ideas coming up right now. We're going to put SpaceX on there. Yeah, CoreWeave is another good name there. I see Boylan World over there. And then there's West Palm Beach, another note here. I meant, when should I bring it back to your watch list? Yeah, that's sort of what I'm saying there, West Palm Beach. I think that you can get it back in right now. I think the IREN is about to break here. For me, I like to see it, to trade something for the longer term where you're kind of like holding on to see if there's a bigger move. You always want to be above the 200 period moving average, because like right now you're sort of sifting down, as is your 50 period. So I would just say, if you're not in it, you got to wait. I would rather be flat on this name, and I am thinking about doing that, and then waiting for this to get above 47 and then watch it break higher, because, you know, the highs are 67, 70 bucks. So that's like a double back up to the upside from here. So thank you for the super chats. I do like IREN. I think it's better to have a basket including GE Vernova, though. I do like GE Vernova here. All right, Joe's been at the desk at the screen for a minute. Let's go find out why.
All right, guys, welcome. Let's take a look at some of the options activity. Here we're going to be looking at a potential strategy for USO. Guys, what I'm going to be pointing out here, and we often go over this type of stuff, is we can look at this in multiple ways. Now, we can look at it as a spread or just a credit-based trade altogether. Now, with the volatility and the volatility spike stepping in, and you have the risk of Donald Trump truthing and the conflict going on in the Middle East, this is why we're going to set up this credit spread, because we were looking at USO before with increased implied volatility. Now with that starting to cool off, there's ways that we can maximize and utilize the decrease in IV here. So what we have is a bear call spread. Now, for this specific strategy, we're always going to write our option first. So what we'll be collecting on this potential trade, and why I selected this $135 strike price, is because you can see there's a clear pivot. And what we want to do is select a strike above the pivot. Why? Because we can use that as our potential out. Now, if you have the capital here, guys, you're going to be collecting $7.30, and you can see that is going to be expiring October 16th, okay? Now, if you're just looking to collect that premium, you need the capital. Otherwise, what you can do if you're still looking to construct this style of trade is you can purchase a contract a couple strike prices higher, 5 in this instance. You can even go 10, whereas the premium paid will be a little bit less and you will collect more premium off of this credit-based trade. Now, this $140 strike price, guys, going to be expiring the exact same time. You can also do a calendar spread, right? So you can offset the purchase of your call strike, all right? So you're going to be paying $6.80. If you minus that here, you're going to be collecting $50 on this bear call spread that expires October 16th. Now, that may not seem so much, but that's when you want to take a look at your probability of profit. It's really increased, okay? So you're looking in the 90 percentile of what the chances of you collecting premium. Also, you don't need to hold until expiration. One thing that I will note is just keep an eye on your delta. Extremely elevated here because we are closer to at the money, right, guys? So, and then also our out of the money spread sitting around 37 cents. So essentially what we have here is if you're just looking to be a writer, you're collecting $730. If you want to construct the spread, what you can do here is purchase a contract 5 strike prices or even more higher, establishing the bear call spread, and to the tune of you collecting $50 per contract combination. Moving forward, let's take a look at some more put activity here, guys. What we have is some potential floors. I was looking, hey, just in case NVDA decided that it wanted to pull back, where is there going to be some support levels? And that led me to the 14th $212 strike price. Now, open interest sitting around 21,000 contracts. That's going to be the most amount of size that we see throughout this expiration cycle. Now, as for the volume, 9,900 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. Relatively light for this name. So what we're going to be doing, if it does decide to sell into the teens, I'm going to be looking at 212 to hold as support. Now, moving forward, Apple, $300 marker. You can see if you zoom out on your daily, $300 held. And with that being said, I want to see what the derivatives market is telling me. This is going to be expiring on the 21st, though, guys, so a week after the NVDA contract. So open interest sitting around 6,700 contracts with 9,100 opened and closed on yesterday's session. Let's see if these levels come into play and hold up and act as support for both NVDA and AAPL. Let's send it back to the desk.
Yeah, let's take a look here at some of their names before we get into the bell. Let's take a look here at INTC, Intel. I'm actually going to zoom out because I think this chart tells quite the story. If you look at the 30-minute here, we've just kind of been hanging out around this $96 level. And this comes as we have Intel with an upsize offering, initially looking for $15 billion, now coming out here at $20 billion.
Yeah, and it could be more. They're giving their underwriters an option to buy some more, so let's talk about that. As Adira mentioned, upsized offering there. And insatiable is the appetite, Adira. 5 times oversubscribed. If they wanted to right now, they could rake in $100 billion. That's how much demand their underwriters have for some of these Intel shares. So it's going to be at $95 a pop, which is a 2.6% discount to where they were trading, but I think it's trading at around 95, give or take right now. So not much of a big deal there, but there is a green shoe option purchase. What am I talking about? So the offering could be as high as $23 billion because you've got the likes of JP, Goldman, Morgan, Citigroup, all who have rights, a 30-day option, that is, to buy an additional 31.58 million shares. That would bring the total raise to $23 billion. But $300 million of that is going to be safe for the underwriters. They're not going to be able to use that, Adira. That's going to be their little fee here. Again, JP, Goldman, Morgan, and Citi all going to split up that $300 million that's due to them. And then there's going to be a direct equity offset for their raise. So what am I talking about here? Well, they guided, I believe, about $100 billion. Let me just double check that 1 second. I believe it was $100 billion that they were looking to spend on their 19 points. They're looking to spend $20 billion on the refurbishment of their plant in Ireland, which is supposed to house some of their latest chip making equipment. So this raise apparently will cover the entirety of that build out or that renovation. So it looks like it's just going to come in from one side into the other.
Yeah, I guess, like, Cherise, the thing here that's interesting is we were talking about this yesterday. In a way, it's a good look because, they're showing they're going to be spending on AI. But also, I guess, given the dilution as well, I guess where would you see this on a scale of, like, bearish to bullish? I know it's kind of tough to pinpoint, but I think there are a lot of different ways to look at this. Yeah,
that's the thing, Adira. I mean, you're going to have to look through the dilution at the moment because the risk of not building out and being left behind versus some of your competitors, I would say, outweighs the dilution risk. But you asked me a good question yesterday. You asked me, does the U.S. government sell their position in Intel? And I had a little thinking about that after you asked me yesterday. And, to me, President Trump, likes to pound the table that he's a fantastic negotiator. Whether he is in reality or not, that's not really what I'm trying to get at, right? His moat is negotiations. And then negotiations, to a large extent, they're determined by leverage, right? Who has more leverage in a negotiation? Yeah. To me, if he lets go that 10% Adira, he lets go a lot of that leverage in a space that, as I mentioned yesterday, is, in my opinion, as important as defense. Yeah. So I don't think he does.
That's a really good point. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see because at the very least, one of his economic advisors, Kevin Hassett, is really pressuring him, at least it seems. He's brought this up a couple times to do so. So we'll have to wait and see. But as you know, President Trump calls himself the great negotiator, and he, I think, is going to have the final say. So we'll have to wait, keep an eye on this INTC here. But in the meantime, we'll keep an eye back over with Sean and Joe.
I really like Intel there. I was just telling Joe, I think that there's good opportunities to buy some of this dip there because you had offering relatively unexpected there. And then we got the news. I mean, it was a little disturbing yesterday that there was a thought of maybe selling it there from the U.S. government. But I do agree with Sharif and Joe. Like, if it's working, it's working. They don't need to get in there and start selling. For what reason? I mean, You know, just another one of those things to pound the table on. Like we've got another winning trade. And if you're looking to grab some winning trades, and size has been a problem, well, check it out right here with Trade Funder. Right setups, wrong size. These guys can definitely help you out. Trade Funder has changed the rules with 100K for stocks, 25K for options. You get that today. You keep 80%. And as is very important to Joe, you get paid every Friday on your trading. So never risk your own money. It's just $99 to start, and you get funded or refunded on your first qualifying payout. That's very important as well. You could start in just 1 hour. So if you started now, just a little bit after the market opens. No evaluation, no background checks, just you and the size that you feel you've been missing out on. Scan the code on your screen right now and get involved with tradefunder.com. You can choose stocks, or as Joey just talked about up there, you could choose options. I think that there's been some very interesting. So thank you to Trade Funder. Thank you so much for your continued support of the show as well. And you know, if you are looking to get involved in that kind of a situation with a prop firm and looking to trade someone else's money, do that. 80% payouts. Yeah. Quite nice. Okay, so we said we would talk about this. So what's up, Arthur Axton? Yeah. Thank you for continuously reminding us in the chat of that, because you know we never definitely don't want to forget what we're talking about here with all of y'all, and that today is going to be SpaceX. And we talked about SpaceX with you guys just for a minute here over the last little while. Yesterday's sticky note, of course, we had SpaceX bottom at 130 to 132. We started trading SpaceX like crazy yesterday, and it was a really good day. We grabbed the longs there, then we grabbed the short and got railroaded there at the end of the day. At least we got, I mean, this is the thing about using VWAP, is when you get out of VWAP or playing off of it, it gives you that out. So you're not caught in these kind of moves. There's that 137 area that we wound up taking out and just kind of hovering around there for the close, and we were going to open up around today. But here's that 130 to 132 that we had mentioned there on our sticky note yesterday. So we know that there was a huge run on Friday in the afternoon, and then there was a huge run again today or yesterday in the afternoon on SpaceX. And I was just talking about that there with Joe, and we ran right back up to the day's high again, and now that looks like it wants to hold. So I think the easy no-brainer trade right now is to say long at 137, but if you look at what we did yesterday off the open, it was just too choppy. Like the market opened up, it actually just started going down, went down about $3, open up around 135, down to 132. Then it was giving us these nice wicks to play off of. So you could have actually started to get involved about 940. That's kind of the play that I'm looking to do. But it was a good move back up to the upside. You probably would have got faked out though, because that was only about $1.50 before it once again crushed that low, right? And so if you're going to look to see again sort of how I traded that open, we did not take it in the first little bit. We waited and then took it there once it came back in and hit those lows and gave us kind of a little bit of a wick bottom there. And we were playing off this level. We only had half a unit there, so it wasn't even as big of a trade as maybe it should have been. But it wound up working out, because then we wound up getting on this 132 or so, 130, 150 filler. So wound up going up there. We got 134s and change. That's a breakout of 134 there. So we make our $2 or $3 that way. But at the end of the day, it comes back in and sort of respects some of these lows. So what I'm trying to do here for SpaceX today is actually giving this a little bit of room to breathe again. So if you like the short, that this is a great trade, this 137 break, because if it doesn't hold, then yeah, man, its next area is going to be back here at 133, and SpaceX has $5 in it, man. Like it does easily. This move was 133 to 139 essentially. But I don't like to take the very top, because as you know, Joe, there's those imbalances that come out. Yeah. So that influences price where it probably shouldn't have been. But let's just say that's $5 straight to the upside in the last half hour. Well, we can easily, if those machines aren't on, you can fall right back into this area and start looking for bids. But says Stone Cold. I'm going to wait for 135. I'm just going to try to wait for somewhere in the middle here. We did have a little bit, and this is kind of picking at straws a little bit. We did have a little bit of a dip right into there where we, during that move higher, that we were deciding about 135. 135 was a little bit of a decision area right back into here as well. Good morning, Danger Carlene. What's up, Danger? Interesting name there, Carlene. I like that name. But 135 is, and we want to say what's up to everybody on TikTok as well. We never want to forget them. But here's, this is Palantir. I was just looking at that interesting name here. This is a 5-minute chart. So what I'm going to write down on SpaceX is, there's 135.50. So this is a 5-minute rate here that's been actually decent when you're trying to look for some kind of support. You know, bounced off of it there, was actually really good early yesterday. So that's kind of what I'm looking at today for an early take, is 135.50 off of a 5-minute chart there for SpaceX. So that's going to be another play. And then I was trying to find out maybe if there was going to be a play on Palantir as well. But
Palantir.
you can see in the back, man, we do have the chat up.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody that's part of our family here again today, as we hope Joe's sitting in. Thank you for that. As Neil yesterday, I was just messaging him. He's fine. He was feeling some like tightness in his elbow, and then it was like getting into his hands.
Yeah. There's obviously more substance.
No. It is what it is. It's just, he just said it's tendonitis.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be back in. So I want to thank Joe for coming here today, and another double duty day over there, Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming through, but yeah, I forget what I was getting at, but
it's
about everybody, about our family.
Yeah, about our family.
And just how great to have everybody here as part of the chat. Keep your comments going in. Message at Joe, at myself, at Sharif, at Adara. Let us know what's going on, because today is going to be hopefully a money-making day with SpaceX. Did you trade it at all yesterday?
Yeah, via SSPC, and I took a long on it on actual SpaceX as well too. You talked about making money there, Sharif. Well, we were expecting a 26-cent loss here. EPS, it comes in at 6 cents. Also, Elon stating the fact that, hey, we might be seeing $1 trillion here in the next couple of years in revenue. So I think this can give an opportunity for this name to start climbing. I mean, people are expecting it to continuously lose money, even though it is right now. I wouldn't be surprised next quarter if EPS comes in positive. Man, this name can really go on a little bit of a run, but we all know that's being driven by XAI and Starlink. So for me personally, SpaceX, I think it's most definitely in play right now, and things are starting to pick up a little bit faster than what we were anticipating. CapEx is there. That's not anything that we should be surprised about, but other than that, SpaceX, 3 strong days in a row, the latter half of yesterday's session being one of the stronger ones, so there's no reason for me to not have my eyes on it whatsoever. So other than that, I have my eyes on Riot and HIMS to see if we can get a little bit of continuation in Riot. SpaceX continuation as well too, but I wouldn't be surprised if you have some form of an inside day, and then HIMS and HERS for a potential rebound or a continuation on the sell-off off of the earnings report last night. I think that's enough rambling on from my app. Let's see if we can send it back to the desk.
Indeed we can. And yeah, guys, I think it's time for some core info on CoreWeave. I mean, we've got a couple interesting earnings after the bell today. CoreWeave, SMCI, we're going to have Lumentum, we're going to have Kava. All of those, I think, are usually of note to at least some of our traders. But CoreWeave, I think, probably the most interesting here. You've got CRWV, very much in that AI circular space here, and this is its only 6th ever earnings report as a public company.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of history, and investors continue to question whether growth can keep up with the pace of the rapid pace, I should say, of the CapEx build out, which, you know, is keeping this company from being profitable still, believe it or not. So look, the Neocloud sector, they face large constraints here, supply constraints. They can't build it out, these data centers, as fast as they're bringing in the demand. Just to give you an idea here, we almost have $100 billion in whatever you want to call it, RPO, backlog, whatever the term you want to use is. They have more orders from clients than they have capacity to give them. That is a good problem to have. How long does it last for, and can they monetize it? So that's what analysts will be looking for. But in terms of numbers, Adara, we're looking for Q2 revenue to come in at $2.55 billion. That would be higher sequentially over Q1 of $2.08 billion, with EPS, as I mentioned, continuing to be negative. They're looking for a $1.49 loss per share. They did end up, as I mentioned, $99.4 billion in backlog and 3.5 gigawatts of contracted power. They do have plans to build out over 5 gigawatts of AI compute. We know that is largely backstopped by NVIDIA's investments. We've talked about the circularity of the investments between CoreWeave, NVIDIA, and all the other players that are intertwined as well. Let's see how they do, Adara, but yet no shortage of demand.
Yeah, and you mentioned here growth, Sharif. What's interesting is CoreWeave's revenue growth has actually slowed kind of considerably over the last 3 or so quarters. I mean, to be fair, still over 100% year-over-year growth, but when you're previously having 400%, sometimes, investors, they want results right away. They want that growth to stay elevated. So I think seeing like an increase in that year-over-year growth, that could be a good look for CRWV today. How are you guys feeling about this stock?
I just want to mention one thing, guys. So the morning note for the premium paying subscribers, it had the wrong link. That's since been updated. So if you guys want to go over, just get the new link there. It's all ready to go. Do apologize about that.
Yeah, in the meantime, I guess we'll go over to Joe and Sean for thoughts on CoreWeave.
What's going on, my guy?
No, I was just I see my name on the board there, so I was just reading the old comment there.
Okay. Well, you don't have you don't have it open on
the
your
chat right now. Listen, you know I love you guys, but let me finish.
Don't worry.
Let me finish my coffee first before.
What do you mean? Who's saying something about Joe?
Active.
No, I'm.
Yeah, this one here, Joe.
I'm in a band mood over here.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, is it expensive in capital expenditures to harvest asteroids and go to Mars? Listen.
Well, Joe's an expert at this.
No. But in all seriousness, if you do your due diligence and you
where'd Sharif go?
I don't know. You get the eggs, my
guy. No,
guy.
because he's good at this.
He's very good, and I think he can agree with what I'm about to say. If you actually read it with the total addressable market, and Adara made a very valid point, such a small fraction of it is space exploration, and Adara said, "Hey, this is odd for a company to be called space exploration when such a small fraction is actually about exploring space."
And when your space revenue is declining for the first half of the year.
Exactly. This is a data center and a Starlink play, a satellite play. All right. So I mean, eventually the costs are going to get there, but that's why you have to be extremely forward-looking. If you are playing SpaceX due to the fact that these guys are going to be mining asteroids and going who knows where in outer space, then you're going to be sitting in this for quite some time. Right now, it's XAI. Yeah, pause, right. XAI and Starlink. That's what you're playing this trade off of.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea.
Merger?
That's the other thing. I'm not sure that's going to affect anything. Like, I don't. Merger? Well, because merger, would that affect the SpaceX stock? Like, because it's gonna, wouldn't it take over right now? Because the market cap of Tesla and SpaceX, I think, is relatively close.
It's relatively close
at this point. So I don't know what a merger actually winds up looking like. I don't know if that benefits which end of that. And I think Neil and I talked about this in the last couple of days. There is like trying to figure out if it is a Tesla story or if it's a SpaceX story. And we kept on saying like a backdoor to maybe SpaceX shares, if you think they're a little high right now, is possibly, grabbing some Tesla, hoping that at some point there is that merger without dilution of Tesla's shareholder wealth. And I don't know how that exactly is going to go down and what that looks like. Maybe if you guys have some notes, message us there in the chat and let us know what that might look like. But there's other ways to play the space game. We saw Rocket Lab the other day or last night. ASTS, AST Mobile, ASTS is a symbol. I think Boeing is also a pretty good way. They have deal with NASA and some sort of contracts there, as well as the U.S. government. And then we have Space Force, which does exist, believe it or not, although there was that Netflix show, I think it was called Space Force, with Steve Carell. I thought that could have been a lot funnier than it actually was, but I mean, I know. They only did like one season there.
You gotta watch Ad Astra, too.
What is it? Is that
it's like a Brad Pitt space?
Ad Astra, I never seen that one. Yeah.
But I mean,
but John, lots of ways to play it.
There is, but I mean, we talk about this quite often. If you feel like you've missed the boat on Tesla, I don't think you have, because you're at levels from October of 2021. So that's almost 5 years ago, right? Stock's still at the same price, unless you've been buying in around the lows. But I'm convinced that autonomy AV, what he's got going on with Cybercab, not so much the robotic side of things just yet. That can most definitely pick up some momentum. But with AV and autonomous vehicles, I think it's just going to absolutely just blow everything out of the water. People aren't going to want to drive. Katina Man no longer owns a Tesla. It's not. Well, I mean.
Well, it's in my name.
Yeah, but it's not yours though anymore. Which I said.
But I mean, honestly, I understand that you're not married and everything, and that's great. But I think actually legally you are married. I think.
Yeah.
You've been with her more than 6 months.
Yeah.
And have you been sharing a residence for more than 6 months?
Yeah.
Then you are common law married. Congratulations. Let's just say congratulations right now to bang to Joe.
Yeah.
Right there.
Everything's in my grandma's name.
To put a ring on it. What's that song? But no, at the end of the day. I can't remember what we were talking about again, and I'm
AVs is just how
distracted.
the Tesla is in yours.
Oh yeah, Tesla's not in my name anymore.
Yeah.
No, and I think it's just we're just joking around about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got it again as they're out for the day.
I
and
told you. I knew.
she'd rather roll around in the Tesla than
Yeah.
in the SUV.
Well, because he doesn't have to, like, I mean, you just hit the FSD.
Well, she actually said today they were on the highway, and yesterday, because they were painting new lines on the highway.
Oh, it was.
And yesterday, it was like thinking about, she thought it was a little too close to the left. So today, as they were approaching that same area,
Yeah.
she was like getting ready to take it over, because when you're on the highway, you're a little nervous. You want to make sure it's in the right lane. She's not nervous, but that wasn't nervous. But then today, it didn't happen at all. So it self-learned
it's
yesterday,
self-learned.
apparently, where
Yeah.
she had to sort of correct it yesterday because she felt like the paint on the line just wasn't clear enough. And then today she was ready to do it again at the same spot, and she messaged me and didn't have to do it. So wild stuff. And got home and just plugged it in, and it added a couple 100 kilometers overnight. So it's just like, it's been an amazing.
Where I stand on this is like, think about all the people commuting north of like Highway 7 or even from
Anywhere.
Woodbridge and
I
stuff,
can't believe Randy,
coming
yeah.
into the city, right? Like, think about it. You just have to eliminate that hyper focus of driving into the city in the morning, and I think that's just going to really what you and Sharif swatting out these flies is crazy. All right, we have a $2. Oh man!
Ooh, a $2 super chat. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up, brother? I love how Joe went from no coffee to where is my coffee. You can thank your boy behind me for that one. Yeah. Thanks, Sharif.
I have no idea.
On the
Why Sharif got you back on?
Yeah, well, he got me on it in the first.
Sharif, I think in the morning drinks the most coffee, but you might be next.
Well, I've been ramping up. Well, I said, think about it, how many years I wasn't drinking it, so I have to play catch up and drink it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've seen Sharif fills up this big, huge.
11 o'clock. I won't have more caffeine after 11 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you have the most coffee in the morning.
Bro, what do you mean after 11 a.m.? You walk into the midday with a
cup.
Yeah, with this one.
And that's I pour it like 10:45. Done by 11:30.
Okay.
Don't have anything after.
Yeah. I think he's probably the most caffeine here.
I don't know. I feel like
I have one in the afternoon maybe, and then I have like maybe one this morning, because this is actually pretty good because it gets, you fill it a little bit and then it stays.
And also keeps the flies out.
It keeps the flies out. Yeah, it's a good one. And then every once in a while, when we're nice enough, Randy will bring us one, but then it just sits here and gets cold. There's nothing wrong with drinking some coffee. All right, we have so many super chats coming through there. If you want to thank everybody for all of the love, we do have to get through
small cap
our the small cap. Is it small cap recap?
Yeah.
Over here, WXM. Here it goes. What's up, Tisha?
Awesome.
Here goes WXM. So you might have been onto one again right here. I'm getting that small cap feeling, so you guys got to get ready for some more small cap madness trading with Joseph and myself.
Yeah.
But there it is, man. Nice breakout there. We can throw to Adair for the news. This looks like it was pretty immediate. 725. It started to bust out there, but the move actually happened overnight. So $9 up to 10.50. We can definitely take a look here at Yes.
I'm actually not seeing any news.
Okay, forget that. No news on that one. This is WXM on a longer time frame. This is yesterday at 4:15, Adara. So I think it was yesterday afternoon. Something there with WF International starting to go a little higher right there. So definitely worth a check. There isn't too much. on it. Yes. Oh, I thought that was Adara. Yep.
No, yeah. So I'm reading. Apparently, people are saying, people I'm seeing are connecting this WF story to WXM. They don't seem to be directly corrected. When I read about it, people are just saying, oh, there's volatility in WF and WXM is trading higher. The last story in Benzinga related to this name was from June 25th, 2026. Yeah, I mean, everything I'm seeing is about this WF.
Yeah, okay. So, they could be definitely tied there if that's going to make some sense here. This is what the chart looks like split adjusted. So you're already at, what is it, $11 right now? So you're already up here. I just got to put this to the pre-market. So you're already up here. And then, so basically support around 7 at this point now. Probably clear sailing, man. I mean, this one did split there back in June. So I would say, I don't think it's blue skies to 18, but that would be pretty awesome. And then you get a gap right there from 26 to 18 with no news. Recent high $42 back in last September. So this seems like a relatively legit stock. I mean, obviously that 1 for 10 there doesn't help on that split, you know, but at reverse split. But at the end of the day, reverse splits are good because you get lower shares out there, right? So the float becomes a little decreased, thus increasing the chance of this move. So I think you're right, Tisha, there. Clear skies till about 13 or 14. Wait to see what winds up happening there around 11. And then just a quick look, and then we've got to go back. I've been so busy here today going over all these stories and all these super chats that I've just, oops, I typed in INTC. That's what I'm working on right now.
Talk to us about the PE first.
Is a note. No, that's right. I'm going to do INTC. Yeah. I have Intel right now as a long. I got some names coming up. The sticky note is once again going to be out very shortly. But I just wanted to see what the volume was going to be like here. So short float just 3.7 on this WXM. So not huge. Float there it is, 2.2 million shares, already done 12. But yeah, you're right, man. Congratulations. That looks like if you're in this one, then bang, you've definitely hit it now upside. And we always say, and I know Sharif talks about this too, and you guys do on the midday, they're pulling back into VWAP is worth a look now as we trade above it. I think this satisfies some of the looks there, Sharif, for you? Like above $1, above VWAP, relatively new volume coming into the play right here. So I think WXM, wow, there it goes, man, ripping through there. So we were just going through like all of the requirements right there. Recent volume, story, couldn't really find one specifically, but you know, it's starting to go back upside. You're taking out VWAP. You have a good base. There goes WXM. So yeah, man, remember, won't halt once in the pre-market, but I'm willing to bet, as Neil always says, I'll bet you a quarter that this name halts within the first 5 minutes. What do you think, Joe?
You want to do it?
Well, it's just Neil's quarter, so yeah, let's do it.
All right. So.
All right, so we'll bet. You think it's going to halt or not?
Oh, yeah, I do. But
okay, so do I. But we'll,
the same thing.
We'll bet. We'll bet anyways. Let's see if this halts within the first 5 minutes. Thank you, Tisha, for that review and that look on WXM getting us all excited over here. Joe and I do have halt scanners, so you know, anything that will halt, we will do our best to cover that as the market gets a little spicy here off open. But okay, let's go back over the desk now. We got this great watch list to run down through, right? You can get that. The link is in description. Go have a look at that. Lots of names on there, high-flying names as well. But we're going to go through some of the ideas. How about now?
773, guys, is where we closed yesterday on the SPY. We're above it nicely right now. 774 and a third. We're up 0.16. Is not a bad look, but we're continuing to use that 775 area as resistance as we have for the last few days. Not surprising there. We always look at these $5 and $10 increments on the SPY as support and resistance. This no different. We didn't quite make it down, though, yesterday into 770, so I'm reluctant to say, you know, that that's been a tested support level, but we're going to go with it again like we did yesterday. We're going to say support level 1, 770, resistance level 1, 775. If we break out or break down, we're looking at 767.50 as support level 2, and then we're going to have to look basically right at that 780 level as R2 Adair.
Yeah, lots to talk about today, and to follow along with us to see what we're going to be talking about on the rundown, you have to check out our free Trader TV Live watch list. This is earnings, events, economic data, everything you need and more to tackle the day. How do you get it, you may ask? Click the link in that description or type the URL that you see on your screen. Either or works, so you can join us and follow along with what we're going to be talking about. For that WXM as well, thank you, Sharif, for mentioning to me. Apparently that, yeah, they are WF International. They had earnings. I guess I did not find this on my platform. I didn't find it consistently when I Googled, but I guess the earnings is the catalyst there for WXM, so keep that in mind. Again, clearly not a lot of info floating around on that one, so interesting look there. We'll take a look here at RIOT, though. Riot, this one having a riot to the upside. Now, it's interesting. Initially, kind of a muted reaction here. Like we had, you know, EPS miss, sales beat. They announced this Frontier AI Lab deal, and then we get a report that the Frontier AI Lab is actually Anthropic.
Absolutely, it is, and this is a good look for them. And we've been seeing a lot more of this, guys. We've been seeing a lot more of these former, you know, miners who have a lot of experience with compute and in large, you know, kind of warehouse settings, kind of flip the script here and do what's working, which is obviously AI compute. So the details are as follows: $9.1 billion, 20-year agreement to supply 191 megawatts of data center compute at its Rockdale, Texas campus, specifically to Anthropic. But look, It sounds great on paper, right? But it's going to be a staggered 2-year build out. So the 191 megawatts, they're not all going to come in at the same time. First, you're going to have 96 megawatts by December of 27, so about a year and a half. And then the full 191, that's going to come by June 2028. So essentially, you're going to have 6 consecutive quarters where you don't realize any of this revenue. So it's all forward looking at this point. That's number one. Number two, they had to go to the debt market in order to be able to finance this $573 million bridge loan for Morgan Stanley to Riot. And there's also an extension to increase this, right? So the value of the deal could be more than 9.1 billion. It could almost double here to 16.1 billion. That is, of course, if Anthropic chooses to exercise that. So it could be all the way up to 16.1 billion and for 30 years instead of 20. Last but not least, Adara, they are using AMD hardware here. So AMD, a read-through for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, good look there for AMD. Great look for Riot. And before we send you back to the guys, I have to talk about another AI-related story. Feels like the information is releasing some story around 9 a.m. almost every day the last couple of weeks. Today, it's on NVDA, who is reportedly developing new open source AI model called Nematron 4. So again, new reported open source AI model for NVDA. Not much of a move on this, but keep an eye on this one. Riot, what are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, it's my primary look here this morning to see if we get any form of continuation. One thing I like about this deal is the length of it, Sean, 20 years. But so if you break down what Sri was just mentioning, the 9 billion over 20 years, it may not seem like a lot, but it can increase over time. After the first couple of years, building the data center obviously is going to be expensive. But my big question is, what's going to happen to all of the Bitcoin mining rigs? Is it easily transitioned into some of this Neocloud cloud compute? That's something that I'm not familiar with, but 20 years, I like the duration of this specifically, and I also like that we had a nice little move in the post last night. So Riot, a hold of $22. You can see there's a support level right there, break of this trend line, and then maybe even a break through this high of the day is something that I'm going to be aiming towards. Below the volume weighted average price right now or trading right at it, this is what I like to see in the pre-market.
Yeah, I think I was looking at NVIDIA as well there. I was taking notes out. I just have some pretty chalk names on there. But I do like that NVIDIA story. I think there's going to be more runway, and I really like the idea of buying more of this name. That is for sure. I think we're going to get. We are not going to get to NVIDIA on the rundown. So,
No.
okay. But yeah, look, I think if Joe's going to be looking at it, he'll probably have some trades on it and be covering this for you guys there today. But whenever there's this gap, like we talked about it coming through, especially on earnings, we do like to play it back to VWAP. So right now, 2250 is where the volume weighted average price sits, and that's not a horrible level to look at either. You did dip down into 22. So I actually would expect there to be some selling in this name. You come up with this deal and you're just going from 19, bust up to 20, then people figuring out it's Anthropic up there to $23, $24. Remember, Anthropic, these guys are spending money like drunken sailors out there. So there is going to be a lot of deals that come through, and we've seen sort of pullbacks happen after the exuberance sort of sets in. But I do think that, the fact that this is 20 years, 9 billion, it does mean a lot to Riot. And again, like just looking here at market cap and everything for some of these stocks, RIOT, we want to look at here on the details. You're going to come through 14% short flow, so they're not expecting that, right? The quarter wasn't the greatest, right?
No.
But look at that market cap, 7 billion. So it's not a huge market cap here for our RIOT Riot. So I do think that there is room to run here. If people like it, they'll probably come in, buy this name. I mean, the market cap isn't that relevant right now. It's going to be more about the momentum. And so that looks to be a try to break through 24.50. I would say if you get long now, $23, the top to me looks like it will be around this 24 to 24.50 area. So I like Riot here today, but I do think that there is going to be some kind of a lid on it. So just watch out for $24. I think that'll be awesome if it gets there, and you definitely want to take some profit if that is the case. And for me, dropping below this 21.50 here, which is the 200 period moving average, is a no. So that's a no-go there if we break below 21.50. So I'd like to see it kind of hover in this area, and then we take the long on Riot. Let's go find out what the story is with HIMS, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, HIMS and Hertz here. We actually had pretty strong revenue growth for this company with revenue, specifically in their international segment, growing by more than 1,600% year over year. Stock, though, just not reacting too well to, again, what was in a lot of ways a pretty strong report.
It was a good report. It's just they missed on one thing. It was really earnings. But the top line growth, as you mentioned, Adair, really, really doing well. $753.2 million in revenue. That main top line, up 38% year over year. Now they're guiding pretty good as well for their full year revenue, $3.1 to $3.3 billion. But as you saw in the pre-market, it continues to sell off. The earnings miss here. Let's talk about the Eucalyptus acquisition. That was the Australian company that I think they closed in June. That added a lot of money here to their, as Adara mentioned, their world revenue, because prior to that, it had been $7.5 million, quite anemic for a company this size. Now it's a healthy 131.4, and that's in Q2. However, they did take a hit on their gross margins. It dropped from 76% this time last year down to 64. They're blaming it on product fulfillment cost, international lower margin mix from the Eucalyptus acquisition, as well as upfront investments in their weight loss category. But this is a company that made in earnings, their GAAP net earnings last year, this quarter, $42.5 million. Now they're bleeding $86.3 million negative net loss. Why? Well, what happened since last year? They can't compound these GLP-1 drugs anymore. The reason is they're not on back order anymore. The companies are able to meet demand, so there's no statutory reason for them to be able to compound it. So what they've had to do is they've had to go to the brand names, and when they sell the brand names, Adara, they don't make as much money.
Yeah, I mean, certainly compounding issues here for HIMS. Are you guys looking at Hims and Hertz Health, or even the likes of Lilly or Novo Nordisk today?
I mean, being down 6.5% is not great there for Hims. But I mean, just looking at some of those numbers, revenue grew. We like that. GAAP earnings came in at 37 cents negative on the negative side, so that's not great. And their EBITDA declined 27% year over year. There's just a lot of opportunities in this space, and I just don't know if Hims is right now going to be the right one, as Sharif was talking about the compounding there. 29, and there's also that Reptutride coming through. There's some more drugs that will be coming through for Eli Lilly as well. Retrutide, yes, thank you. And so, there's more coming. You're going to get underneath the 200 period. That's never going to be a good thing. It will trade a lot. There's a decent short float as well. Man, I keep on checking the same website. We should just have the short floats coming out automatically there. 32% short float on Hims. So, down 7%. Look to see if it gets down 10, maybe bouncing somewhere off this 26 to 28 area in there. I'm not it's not doing too much here in the pre-market. So to be honest with you, I think this break is probably pretty good. 29.50 breaking to the downside. That's going to happen immediately off the open. So, that little wick that was made there on earnings, that's going to be put into test for sure. That's 29.20. So I think if you break 29 to the downside, you want to continue to ride this. Not a great look. EBITDA down, like I said, 27%. But they did guide stronger than expected revenues. But again, if you have strong revenues, but you're unable to put that together to make money, that's a problem. So Hims right now heading a little lower right now, HIMS. Speak about coffee. I'm going to go grab one.
Go.
Joe, so what's your coffee situation saying?
We're good, brother.
You don't need a next one?
No, we got
That's almost done over there.
It's almost done, I know, but
I haven't had instant coffee in a minute.
Yeah, it's not bad, man.
Yeah.
Do you want it? Are you going to make a nice coffee?
No.
Why?
But make an iced coffee?
Yeah.
Is there ice in there still?
Why? Yeah.
Ramin told me never to trust that ice. Was it just an ice that's in the?
But I'm the one who put the ice.
Oh, you're the one that put the ice with the water in there. I think iced coffee is nice to have.
So I mean, listen. What we have here in regards to Hims and Hertz, subscriber growth is up, right? So that's not horrible. But across the board, the stock hasn't been performing well whatsoever. So if you ask me, if you go out and zoom out a little bit here, you're still down 60%, all right? So that's something that you definitely have to keep an eye out on. It's tough. We know that they're going to be probably the first to market with some of these peptide releases, as Sharif was mentioning not too long ago. But when you have a name that has been performing like this, I don't know, is this something that we want to keep our eyes on? Is this something that, from an intraday vehicle, I think it's a completely different story. I have it for both directions, so I just believe the stock is in play, right? We can pull it up here. Riot's going to be one of my primary, but Hims and Hers, definitely going to be on my list just due to the fact that, hey, it's in play. We had the earnings report. Now, it's going to be a continuation. You're down 7% already here this morning. It's going to be a continuation into the selling, or it's going to find somewhat of a rebound and give back the majority of its move. Now, as for if it exceeded its expected move, that I'm not aware of, but other than that, it's going to be in play. Support level at $29. If that breaks, then we're going to see some more downside, in my opinion. And if it holds and sits above the volume-weighted average price, then I'm going to be looking for it as a potential long and a momentum style trade. All right, guys, let's talk SpaceX $300 price target. Oh my, who set this? What analyst put that target, guys?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a misleading here because it was a maintained price target from Adam Jonas of Morgan Stanley. He was known for being really bullish on Tesla, and now he's being really bullish here with SpaceX because, Sharif, what's interesting here, this is just their main price target. Their long-term bull case price target is $600 for SpaceX.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. That was a long-term for them. And yeah, look, hey, if you believe some of the numbers that Elon was throwing out in the call, maybe 600 does make sense. But look, we're going to have to deal with the numbers we have for now, Adira. So look, it closed up 4.2% yesterday, 138 3/4. That means it reclaims the IPO price of 135, but it's still, well, actually, it's still well off, obviously, the all-time highs, but it has rebounded about 32% off its 105 low on the 3rd of August. We know the expiry lockup came and went. That was August the 6th. That was, you're expecting a lot of selling, and institutions were expecting it as well. So some people are saying, and you never really know if this is true, that there was a lot of institutional short covering when the lockup period came and went, and there wasn't the selling en masse as had been predicted. But that's not the end of that. We're going to have another unlocking period here, the 20th of August. So that will be yet another test. And we're at a very critical area in terms of support and resistance. Throw the hour chart, the 4 hour, whatever you want on there. 135 to 140 could be a critical test here. So let's see how that trades. And last but not least, Adira, this didn't sell off for no reason. We know why it sold off. CapEx, right now, it's not in favor, and they upsized their CapEx for the quarter, which pushed them into negative EPS territory, 9 pennies negative.
Yeah, and if you look here as well at CapEx for the whole fiscal H1 2026, so Q1 and Q2 cumulatively, it grew by 400%.
Wow.
So that's significant CapEx growth. I mean, I know, Joe, we were talking about this name earlier here, SPCX, and maybe some, I guess, space revenue being a relatively small portion of what they actually do. This is our top name, though, in our stock watch. So this is the name all you guys want to look at today. How are you feeling about this one, Joe? I almost said JOE, like a stock ticker.
That's all right. No, listen, it's been on a big time run, right? And I'm glad that it came in, earnings per share came in better than expected. That definitely helped fuel the fire. Now you have the locked up shares being able to release, so those people can do as they please with whatever it's going to continue to hold. As Michael Noss was talking about yesterday, he's like, okay, well, if you've seen a drastic cut from where the shares were trading at prior to them being locked up, now they're free, and it's like, okay, well, that's almost cut in half off of the highs. Are you going to continue to hold on to it, or are you willing to release some? What we can tell is that from a daily perspective is that the volume is most definitely increased, okay? And it's starting to climb the list in the options name. For me personally, I think that maybe not today, but at some point, we're going to be able to make a nice strong move up into $150. All right, I think that's reasonable. $300 price target. We might not see that for some time, but the next quarter, I'm not going to be surprised if these guys start turning a profit. Now, capital expenditures going through the roof. We've seen that across the board with all these hyperscalers. Terafab going to cost a boatload of money. That I'm not surprised by anymore. So what we can have potentially here in SpaceX, another additional pullback maybe to 135, and then you continue. Right now, we're trading above the volume-weighted average price in the pre-market. Not in love with that, but in the bigger picture, and I guess in a shorter time frame, I do believe that we're going to be able to climb into some higher prices and recover a lot of those losses that we experienced over the past month or so in SpaceX.
We have a SpaceX written down here on the sheet today. It's going to be a long again for me on SpaceX. I wrote down 135 long. Right, we hit it yesterday at 130. Let's see if we can do it again today. I mean, I think there's definitely a $3 move coming, and I already showed you guys. I'm just looking at that level. I'm not like in love with it. I thought that there was going to be a good little level there. And by the way, Joe, I used all the ice that was left.
That's Oh, you made one?
Yeah, man.
Nice. But you didn't refill the tray?
I did.
Oh, okay, my
Of
God.
course, I refilled it completely
All right,
full.
man, throw it
And I have
back in
there's
there.
like maybe 8 or 9 of those little ice.
Yeah.
I like that's an ice
Yeah.
cube tray that we have at our house. The
Oh,
like
that
the,
one?
the light plastic. It's not
Sound
hard.
of it just gets me, it gets
No, but I like
You like that
what?
one?
No, because it's not a hard one.
Yeah.
When you crack it, it's the soft.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
sound, I
yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was
yeah.
worse for the hard one.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, and I wanted to
Same.
show you. There's
New.
I don't know if you saw them. There's dumplings.
I did.
Yeah, so there we go.
There you
We
go, I
can
have
share
that.
one or not, up to you there, Mr. Cardman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to say that right down here, 135, 135.50, and we sort of showed you that, and I'm just kind of picking at straws a little bit here, drawing at straws, because that was held yesterday off the open, was this 5-minute, this is a 5-minute chart, this is a 200 period moving average. Excuse me. So I wrote that down there on the note today. That's something that I'm going to look for. So that's going to be an early look for potential hold. It kind of lines up with some of the consolidation that we saw yesterday in the midday, basically before we had that move down. So yeah, just trying to figure that out right there around 135. So for me, that's a look. And it's just, it's a name that I don't think you can avoid, because it's like, once it starts trending, it's actually very good. Like once it breaks levels, and you know, if you're looking for shorts, you could just wait. Like you would have waited for this short here of 136, and then yeah, you would have had to give it $1. I think giving SpaceX less than $1 on your trades is irresponsible. You know, because there are these violent moves, and that happened to me yesterday, and I can show it to you yesterday too. We kept on getting stopped out trying to short it right here underneath VWAP, and we are actually part of this crazy wick where we got stopped out. It didn't matter because eventually it ran higher. It just made me get back in and caused me 0 for 2 on that trade there. But trying to get it underneath VWAP has been something there, and then it busted through, and then once it does, man, the volume kind of picks back up there into the close, and then we have that huge run up to 138. So I know a lot of you are like, you know, hating on Elon or whatever. You think that this stock is well overvalued. It probably is, right? But at the end of the day, we pay for future growth and future expectations, and SpaceX right now is an AI machine, and I feel like it's going to, you know, pay off. And, you know, for me, not getting more at that 105 area, not that 105 was the ultimate bottom, but like 110 or so, seems to have been an early miss here on SpaceX, because next time it falls back in, I think there will be some traders waiting with open arms to buy this up. So I'm not sure you get back into $100. I'm not going to call an all-time low there on SpaceX, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was close to that.
On the pullback?
No, we might have just already seen the low on SpaceX. I don't want to just say that after 4 days of it going back up. I mean, negative stories are abound. And if you do hear something, a slowdown in the data centers, something messed up with XAI, obviously we don't wish that, you know, these launches go awry, but, you know, something happens. There are lots of opportunities there for this stock to come back in, but I do think Starlink is something to worry about for, you know, the legacy names,
absolutely,
you know, with the internet providers and all that kind of stuff.
AT&Ts,
so, yeah, the AT&Ts, the Rogers for us, the Verizons, and all that kind of stuff. I think that there is a little bit of a problem there, but it's 9:22, and we still have a few more stocks. So let's go over and discuss whatever SE is.
This is C Holdings SE. At one point, this is actually on our, I think it might still be in a smaller position here, the list of that our viewers wanted to look at. So we had really strong revenue, a little bit of a miss here when it comes to earnings as far as I saw, but strong revenue growth straight, even in these segments like Shopee, where in all three of the revenue segments, 30% plus year-over-year strength.
Yeah, they're really focusing on Shopee, Adara, because it makes more money for them. So we'll get to it in 1 second. Q2 earnings, guys. Top line revenue, $7.79 billion, up a very healthy 48.1% year over year. Net income coming in at $458.1 million. However, it's one of those kind of anomalous situations where the net income is positive, but when you look at EPS, it missed a little bit. That's because of 2 issues. One, they diluted their share pool through share-based compensation. That's always a bit of an issue there. But they had a couple of one-line items that are not going to reoccur, so we do expect them to be profitable in Q3. Shopee, let's get to that one, Adara, because that one absolutely rocketed. 65.6% year-over-year growth on Shopee. That's their core marketplace. That's where they make their ad fees and their commissions. And they're really championing that and prioritizing over their logistics business, which lost about 9% year-over-year. Now let's talk about Money Loan Book, another high margin business for them. Not as strong as Shopee, but this one also grew 62.5% year-over-year. It's a digital financing service, so think of like short-term loans. And you know, this is something that I keep my eye on. I want to see how delinquent or the rate of delinquencies with these loans. Adara, 1% of their loans are in delinquency, very low, just to give you guys an idea, very, very low. Last but not least, they did put money back in the shareholders' pockets via share buyback, $416.8 million.
Yeah, lots, I think, to look at, as Shreve mentioned, the different businesses here when it comes to SE. Is this one that you guys are looking at here today, C?
I don't think this isn't, this isn't a name that we talk about quite often. Shreve brought up a lot of the numbers, but when you see double-digit growth across the board in this, I think that's where a lot of the strength is derived from. Revenue rose 48%, EBITDA up 12%, revenue rose 33% in this Genera post strongest quarter. So I mean, aside from that, like, this isn't a name that we continuously talk about or look at quite often. For me personally, a nice bull flag intraday, just not liquid enough for my liking.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Singapore base. This is like the Amazon and Tencent of Southeast Asia. So for that reason, yeah, I mean, I guess it's an undercover gem. Like, I never even knew about this stock. This is basically, I mean, I knew it was C limited. I knew what we talked about this, but I didn't realize it had that kind of a comp there with Amazon. And I don't know. We'll see if, as Shreve was mentioning, there are many different business levers to be pulled here. It's kind of like above earnings, like before earnings, this would have been a good look. I don't know if 10% is, I mean, looking back here, that 10% looks like a pretty big move for this name. And fundamentals aside, which they never want to be aside, they're very, very key. I like the way this looks technically at 110. I mean, holding that sort of 200 period moving average, those are good dip buy zones, generally speaking. And when you break through them, you want to see this hold. So there was the break back about a week ago. It retested it, bounced off of it, and now you get this move higher. So yeah, if you're in C, for me, this is a big hold at this point. SE, it looks like it's a hold and a run back up to, I mean, not knowing enough about the business is hard to say, like, oh, this has, like, I don't know, do they have an AWS type system that's going in there? I see BTC businesses happening there, digital gaming, e-commerce, fintech. Nah, don't love the fintech aspect of it. So I don't really see any data center stuff in here or cloud stuff, but I like the name. Think it's going to be tough to get back up there, but yeah, definitely a 150 would seem like that's coming through. So yeah, C limited, a good one. We're going to go back over, talk some more space, but I just want to show you what these imbalances look like quickly, because at 925 they just dropped. I bit with a quick sell. We didn't talk too much about Bitcoin today. Joe and I will do that when the market opens up. I'm sure we'll be looking over there. Plug, I thought that was moving around a little bit today in the pre-market. Yeah, so up 16%, nice little move there for Plug, finally getting off some of those lows. $2 might be the low for that one. We've seen Netflix busting around off that 70, so that's had a nice couple days now, up to 76. That's good. Reminds me, I got to get out some Uber today at some point. And then other than that, man, oh, there's Intel. So Intel's on the node today. I think it's a 98 break long. I actually wrote down for Intel right into there, or whatever this sort of pre-market looks like, maybe 97.50. Watch out. Now that we know the pricing of $95, let's see if it gets down there. I still think Intel holds 96. So with only 3 minutes left, Intel doing a lot of volume, and 12 million shares so far for INTC. Yeah, that should be a good space to look at right there. Oh, by the way, I saw Sia in the kitchen there, and we were getting coffees, and I said, okay, see you later or whatever kind of thing, or whatever. And she was leaving, and she said, oh, have a good time at the gym. And I said, yeah, I gotta do the show first. And then, so we were in a little bit of a time warp.
Oh, time warp, yeah.
There.
Wasn't it Time Warp Dance?
Time Warp Dance, yeah.
Isn't that a song? What is that from?
Something about that. I keep saying that one of my kids needs to build some sort of a time machine, man, go back in time or something like that.
Yeah,
time just goes way too fast.
Well, then let me...
it's amazing.
Let me invest in that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you can just write me a check, it's fine.
Anytime,
my kids spend that Starbucks over there. All right, let's go back over the desk. Only a couple more minutes left, and me and Joe are going to discuss some liquidity issues with my kids' businesses.
Yeah, in the meantime, let's talk about these space stocks. You had ASTS and RKLB. I guess the nature of these reports was quite similar. The stock move was quite similar. You had a situation where this quarter not so good, but they're guiding a bit better than expected for both of these companies. So which way do you want to take this?
I'm just going to take ASTS, Adara. So not a bad look here. Look, net loss still driven by almost $126 million write-off from the Bluebird 7 launch anomaly. Who remembers that from Blue Origin? Well, I'm just going to skip through some of this and get right to the nitty gritty here. So they dumped Blue Origin, and they're taking on a new relationship here with SpaceX, and they've bought launches 8 through 13 are not going to go through Blue Origin. They're going to go through SpaceX here, and they're going to do it within 50 days. So according to the company, their launch cadence still on schedule despite the issue with the Blue Origin. And they've got some, they made about $31.5 million in revenue, and that's largely generated through the mobile network operator gateway, as well as the U.S. government defense milestone contracts that they have. And they have some money here, Dara. It looks like they have $3.7 billion in cash that they were able to raise through a $1.15 billion convertible note. They're going to need it because obviously the space business is expensive stuff. Yeah,
and Rocket Lab, meanwhile, missing EPS, just barely beating revenue and guiding better than expected Q3 sales. So nice look for these space names. Make sure to like and subscribe as we send you over to the guys for the opening bell.
I mean, as for AS Space Mobile here, guys, 239 million, 70-cent loss here per share, a little bit more than expected, but their backlog is growing to about 1.3 billion and 125 million in aggregate U.S. government awards supporting national security applications. So they're starting to get those government contracts. Bell opening now. This is just a name that's been beat up, obviously, with some of the space plays. We are now open, ding, 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 ding. I'm not going to be necessarily looking at ASTS here.
Yeah, SpaceX right now falling to the downside. We want to thank everybody for being here with us early and often as this show continues to build momentum. We want to thank everybody for watching, and hit the like, hit the subscribe, get involved in the chat, right? Because Joe and I will be looking there for some trading ideas as we watched out for WXM there. Joe and I bet a quarter that this would halt. And right now, it's going to halt. Right now, WXM is on the... Oh, I tried to get over there and buy the halt. I missed it. WXM, that's too bad. Yeah, it's really too bad. Yeah. I bid 1183 there to see if we can get some going, but there goes WXM. So, Joe, that quarter is Neil's still because both of us won yes on that one. So, good call on that. All right, Intel, look at that, man. Flush right into that level, Sharif and everybody. Right into $95 right there, which was that buy zone there. As we talked about, they did have the offering down there at $95. Looks like that wants to get bought up. So now we wait to see. I'm still on that 98 rip long. So we'll see if that winds up happening. We want to take a 98 long fill here on Intel if it does wind up coming through. But we are trying to be very patient here as this market goes early. People talking about HIMS at HIMS is $31. No, that's not right, is it? Unless it just absolutely, yes, it is. Wow. Okay. Nice move up there for HIMS. We did talk about a good base happening there at 29 and change there for HIMS, bouncing again off of its 200 period moving average. HIMS looking real nice like right there. I'm still liking the long, man. I think this long could work out for us at some point there today. Wish we would have had that dip by opportunity, but we're not going to cry over spilt milk now. We're going to wait to see what winds up happening there with Intel as it goes up to $97. And then the other play that I had, I don't want to talk about something you might talk about, but NVIDIA right now on a little bit of a pullback, looking for 220 on NVDA. But I think the first trade that I'm going to be involved in is going to be the Intel long through 98. But it might be like more of like a 97.50 situation right now. But let's see if we have enough volume to push through 98. NVIDIA's coming right back to 220 right now. That's not a horrible spot either to think about a long for NVIDIA.
No, not at all. So, guys, we have our eyes on Riot here. We're going to wait for price to turn around if it does, and then we're going to look for some form of continuation in the strong price action. If not, it might be an all-day fader, so we have to keep our eyes out on this one. NVDA, Sean mentioned that we're back up to 221. NASDAQ to the south side here, though, ladies and gentlemen. HIMS and HERS, this is what I was talking about earlier this morning, is that I believe that it's either we break that $29 mark or it holds up and find some form of a recovery. It seems to be the latter half so far this morning. With that being said, I'm not in anything. Sean's not in anything. We're waiting for the right setup and for these levels to come into play. Now, the NASDAQ might turn around. Uh-oh, Katina, man. I'm liking the TQs here. We better be able to switch our charts quick. There's some indecision prints around the lows. Let's start really small here on the TQs to see if we get any form of a rebound.
I was going to say, are we looking for a bid there?
Yeah, a quarter unit is probably about quarter risk right now to see if it cracks the low of the day, then we're at a dodge, which it looks like it's going to right now, being led by the likes of SpaceX and NVDA.
We all do things a little differently, but I do like the fact of talking in units like that.
Yeah.
I know Neil doesn't really talk like that, which is fine. I just think it's important that we talk about like early on what the idea would be, because if it's a trade that you really like I'm going to go like a unit and a half or so on the Intel break. So, you know, normal sizing, like something like 3, if it was something that was, building into like that right there. So yeah, quick little trade there. You're still in the queues?
I'm gonna hop out as soon as it broke the low of the day. If it doesn't rebound,
I still think there's a rebound coming.
I might just be a little bit early, to be honest with you, on this trade. That's why you start really small, and then if the setup shows up better next time, then we just add more shares to the position. Didn't get the best fill right at 74s pretty much there, but right now, if we have NVDA, SpaceX, and some of the other larger names continuing to sell, makes it significantly more difficult, like Google to the downside, Apple moving up actually, SpaceX and Microsoft, who put in a day yesterday. Microsoft and the 3 top names moving lower, going to make it significantly more difficult to catch a long in the NASDAQ. And sure enough, there it goes, putting in a new low of the day. And I am out of Dodge.
But I think that's, I think that's a good idea, though, when you talk to, like I said, though, not getting in too hard, waiting to see what winds up happening. Exactly. I'm actually going to think about taking here comes SpaceX down to that 135. I mean, we are getting close. I don't like the fact that the NASDAQ is, as you had just mentioned, straight downside fire right now. So that's a little bit of a problem. I do see in the chat that Google's making moves down. Yes, wow, yes it is. Google into yesterday's. So by the way, I don't want to get too away from Intel here because it is pulling back into some buy zones right now, I believe. I'm going to test it here at 75 or so with Intel. Got 72s there. Just falling right back into VWAP. Again, don't want to hold this too long. If we break 96, let's scram. This is, for me, a quarter of a unit right now on Intel, waiting to see what we can do there. And so far, so good. I mean, if it does, let's get like a piece out at O's if we can, a 97, and then another piece out like a 97.50, where that high's sort of been, and then we'll deal with it there. But so far, one position in right now, Intel long at 72, waiting for a break higher right now. We're also going to get into a small piece of NVIDIA, which we just did. Let's give it a second here on NVIDIA to see where that bleeds down to. I don't want to give this more than 219 right into there. Too choppy yesterday in and around this level for your boy NVDA. Damn these flies there. So at least they can't get lost in my hair. I mean, there's nowhere to go, so that's good.
Lord of the flies. All
right, Lord of the Flies, yeah. Coming back in, let's average. So there it is. We get the out. That's a good one. Money right there on Intel. But right now it's our boy NVIDIA that's giving me a little bit of a problem, as we'll dip down into some NVIDIA. But right now, Intel working to the high side, long 96.70, 96.72, and just buying a little bit of NVIDIA down here near 219. We do not want to be married to this name. I think we both love NVIDIA, but at the same time, it's a love-hate relationship when the market goes down against you, because you have to flatten that position out if it does go. So right now we're long NVIDIA. We're 20 cents in the money there and 20 cents in the money on Intel, but waiting for a bigger play. It's still early.
Yeah, we got 10 cents here on Riot. I'm just going to stick with this game plan. But the way the price action is starting to formulate, I think we might see an additional leg lower south of 21. So any pop here back into 22s, we might like to take a little bit off because we are slowly starting to curl over, and that's not something that I want. Every time we do bid back up, it's relatively weak and immediately met by some form of defense. We don't want to jump the gun too early. So there you go. You pop into 75s, but there's no continuation. Okay, 83 is just like that, Katina, man. So already eliminating the losses from the TQQQ trade, but we don't want to count our wins too early and see if we can head back into the volume-weighted average price. Now there goes NVDA 220.12. You're doing it, and Riot's starting to come back in. So 219.83 really working out for you off of that play on NVDA.
Yeah, I still want to give this a little bit of time here on NVIDIA. We already have that plan of action. Let's see if it goes back up to the upside. We just, we're long at 219.80. We just took an out there at the 200 period, moving average right there of 220.10s or 15s, whatever. We're going to wait here at 70s. I mean, I still think we can get back up there to VWAP, but this market is a ever, moving thing here. I don't think we have, I didn't check I didn't put out a watch list today that involves economic data, but
it's very, very minimal, and it's at 10 a.m. existing home sales. Keep an eye on, like, if you're trading open or something that might be of note. Otherwise, probably not massive.
Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to show it on here as well. So here it is. You can get this information live right now. Just check out TTVL, Trader TV Research. We have it out now. Adara's posting, you know, all the numbers all week on her weekly sort of report that she's got there. And there it is there, existing home sales at 10. So, you know, not much going on as far as that is concerned. But right now, man, I mean, we celebrated NVIDIA when it was winning and now it's losing. So we're long at 60s now. The plan is in. This is going to be a 60-cent hit. If this breaks to 19 to the downside, we are out of this name. Hopefully a rebound coming in the market for NVIDIA, but I liked it down here. You know, my bad if it doesn't work out, but you know, we have exactly 1 unit on right now. So I think we planned this perfectly. We took a quarter of a unit the whole way, right back into this level. And if we break, then we want to get out because I will take the long again down here at 217, but I don't want to be stubborn with it. Ooh. You know, because you lose 1 unit, $3. It's like losing three units, $1. And it's too much. Right there. So we're going to bleed away on this one and see what winds up happening with NVIDIA. It doesn't look like it wants to go higher, although I love the name and I'm happy sitting in it, and I don't even have any offers out. SpaceX, so it just came into 135. We do not want to catch a falling knife. So I know we talked about 135 long on here. Yesterday, our SpaceX trade was actually long, and then we wound up going into the short. But look at this. You do not, there it goes, man. It's a good thing we're long. Both the other trades are in the money. It's a good thing we didn't take SpaceX. That is now sort of expanding its shot here into the downside. Maybe a wick bottom right there. We said, could we get into 133 on SpaceX? And it looks like the answer to that is yes, we can. Oh. But right now, here we go, man.
There we go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What's up, Fitty?
Oh my God.
Here we go, man. It is a nice trade. Back to the upside. Ooh. There goes NVIDIA. Nice move here, 40 cents in the money as that's starting to get going. So, yeah, buddy, so far so good here on the day for these trades. It's 50 times 2 right now coming through there. It's NVIDIA 55 cents. It's Intel 65 cents. And we're starting to get a little bit more excited here to the upside as these plays starting to work out. You can see the market's starting to go now. So let's go, man. Almost that daily goal right here with our 1 unit. Should be a little bit higher, obviously, but let's see if we can get going here with NVIDIA.
Absolutely, man. So there it goes, right? Katina, man, we get out. We take a loss on Riot. We see the print that exactly what we were waiting for. We hop back in, but instead of going a quarter of a unit, we go into a full-size position right now, eliminating the loss here on RIOT and also on TQs. So you start the day 1 for 3, that one winner outsizing your losses, and we're continuing to move a little bit higher here, ladies and gentlemen. So not too bad of a look. Let's see if we can get some form of continuation. 2220s is where I'm going to look to take a little bit more off. So a nice little play to start the day on RIOT. Listen, if we just stuck to this one, there it goes. We catch another fill on this bad boy, my guy. So Riot looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, Joe getting it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just break this down. Gaurav, did you see this one? We're in play. See this hammer? I was long off of this one here bright and early. I'm like, oh no, flushes me out. Good thing we were small size, but we weren't afraid to pull the trigger. No hesitation nation on this one there. Get right back in. Not the exact same entry price, and that's what I'm talking about. I punched that one. I didn't post, which can have a drastic effect on your risk to reward. But again, a couple of pennies. Let's see if we can get this move north of the volume weighted average price. I'm now sitting on 33% of this posiciones. That's Spanish, if you didn't know.
What did Marissa send me over here? What is this?
I heard it was about this play.
What is this play over here? Are we allowed to show this? Let me see what happens here. Nice volume. Catch. Okay.
That's it.
I don't know what happened here. We'll have to figure that out. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why she would send me that. Okay, so right now, NVIDIA, it's starting to cash out a little bit. We still have 60% of this trade. We did have 1 full unit, so I think that was a good idea to get involved there. We are getting more out of this name here as well. My boy Intel made themselves a run right from basically the lows. I mean, we just played the range. The low there at 96, 97 into the highs there of 97.40. A brutal way the Red Sox scored. Oh, we didn't even throw it in? Is that what happened there? Brutal, man. These Jays are something else this year.
Yeah, they're having a really bad year, led by Vladdy.
Vladimir Guerrero, the 5th highest paid player in Major League Baseball, has 7 home runs, 0 at home.
Yeah, I know.
And is batting 5% under the league average for like OBS or something like that. So we got to talk to Neil about that one to figure out what's going on there. Not great look for your Toronto Blue Jays. However, they beat Boston yesterday, and Boston's been on fire. Congratulations to Boston. Boston was like 31-56 or something, and now they're like 65-7 61. They won like
go, like,
31 and 7.
Yeah, they won like 20 games in a row or
So it was,
something.
I don't know if it was that much, but yeah, it was something ridiculous at the end of the day.
15 games or something.
Impressive. That's the thing about baseball, and I'm not going to say the Blue Jays are like going to make the playoffs, but they're only 3.5 games out, which is crazy, being 7 games under 5.
But see, the thing is though, you
just got to get hot.
You need other teams to lose though.
That's the problem. How many are in between you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, good look there. Not a good look, I guess, for the Blue Jays last night. But okay, so NVIDIA, and then by the way, Intel. I have lowered my expectations on this trade because it's not. I thought 98 was a thing. I'm going to cancel that 98 now, and we've already made money on this name. We only have. Forget how many. Oh, we only took a quarter, so we have about 40% left right now. And I don't really want to be in this if we break this level right there. So let's watch out for 96, 96.20. It's coming into play again in and around this area. I think it's worth taking and then dropping it if we break 96. So I'm going to bid down here at 96.40, and if we get it, then great. We'll live with whatever winds up happening. But that stop now is going in at 95.99. I'm not going to take the risk of a shutdown here for Intel. I won't get shut down.
Yeah, I was going to say, bro,
getting locked out of the.
What do you
yeah. Not taking like 10,000 shares here or anything like that. But let's just wait to see what winds up happening with Intel down at that level. That's going to be an area of concern for me as well. Yes, Patrick. What's up, Patrick? Hope you're doing well, my friend. I still am in BBAI, but my average price is $4.20, and we haven't really done anything on BBAI. Like, if I have $10,000 in Eli Lilly, I have 1,000 in Big Bear AI. Like, this is not a name. It's just in the swing account, hoping that something winds up happening with it. I like it, but I don't love it. I thought there would have been more to do during the World Cup, and it actually went the other way there, as they're big into the security. They're big into all of that with stadiums and whatnot. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. They're getting hammered online for that new stadium, apparently. Coming through. Okay. All right, let's go up to SpaceX. Well, they built it, and there's like sightline problems and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
So, look, not a surprise here. I love to go to a game. I think love to go to a Bills game, man. Maybe we should do a Trader TV Live Bills game.
Well, we can't even get outside the city. I think you might be asking for much.
What do you mean outside the city?
Well, I mean, we don't really do anything. We haven't gone outside the city as a collective.
As a unit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be a big one. Going to the United States.
Right. Yeah.
That might be a little bit of a jaunt there for all of us. But I think that'd be fun.
I
think the boys. Yeah, I think that like my crew is looking to do something. I think.
Who's your crew?
To get there? My crew from high school. Like Neil's involved.
Oh, your boys. Yeah. Okay,
yeah. So all of us from high school. We're all in the same pool. Football pool, I think it's like 24 years or something now.
Oh,
The pool's been going on.
That's
and
cool.
I've only won twice, so there's like a big thing there.
So you are the Bills of the...
well, no, I've won twice.
Okay. How many times has Neil won?
No, the Bills have won 0 times.
Yeah,
I think Neil's won 3 or 4 times.
Neil,
I traded Neil Josh Allen because I was a nice guy, and that turned out to be a horrible decision.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, for me, because Josh Allen's been super hot fire.
Yeah.
So he's had a couple championships.
Let me ask you this. Gavin McKenna...
Yes, number
under,
1.
No, hold on now. Over.
Over.
Give me the line.
What is it?
17 and a half goals.
Way over.
Oh, what?
Way over.
That's crazy.
All right, $20. Okay, there it is. Live, $20.
17 and a half, so he needs 18 on the year.
I understand what over
means.
All right,
cool, man.
Okay, so we're going to get going on that. You know what? A lot of Gavin McKenna's, of course, depends on his line and all that kind of stuff, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're taking the bet regardless. Okay, so it looks like 135. I'm in this name here on SpaceX. Not exactly sure, how much I love this spot, but we're gonna try again, quarter of a unit. So we're in right now, trying off 135. I'm actually gonna use 134.50 as my out right there. So we'll get a little bit more at 135 if it does come into play. I mean, again, we wrote this name down. I thought I liked it. We're going to see if it wants to work out. And right now it's just pumping right back into the downside. We could use, just because we're only in half a unit right now, we could use half a unit as our sort of our base and really hold this for a little while. Or we could get a little more aggressive, maybe get a little more, and then use this 134.50. I'm going to use that anyways right now, 134, just because if it does drop down below it, let's just stop out. We'll stop out of 100% if that winds up happening. You know what? Scratch that. Let's stop out of 75%, 134, because I do have a feeling that I said we had to give it at least $1, and that's what we're giving it right now. So let's go Let's go 75% stop out on SpaceX if worst case scenario kind of happens. All right, it's not even worst case scenario. We want to apologize. There is drilling going on somewhere around us right now, so apologize if you do hear any of that noise, and hopefully you do not. Okay, we got reloaded right there. We're going to pass it over to Joe in a second to see what he's up to, but we did get reloaded on Intel down there. It almost breaks 96 and doesn't, so let's take that opportunity to get out some there around 50s. NVIDIA still doing okay, but they had a dip, duck, dodge, dive situation as well. So let's get out some more at the 200 period and see what winds up happening. Joe, the market still going lower right now.
Absolutely. We're taking one more attempt here on the NASDAQ to see if we can get a little bit of a bounce. Tick or sim. Listen, it's subjective, right? It's all relative to what your risk is. Now, when Sean refers to a unit, it's just essentially a risk unit. So whether it be $50, $100, $20, he's risking X amount and saying, okay, I'm in full amount, I'm in a full risk.
So I'm using it as like a shares. So like 100 shares would be 1 unit for me.
So but
I do think about but I always think, to your point, I always think about the money.
Exactly.
So it's like if I expect SpaceX, to go down $1, then 1 unit would be $100.
Okay, exactly. Okay, so there you go. So you're giving so you're buying shares, but you're also
I'm always looking at the downside.
You're factoring in your downside, and that's what we talk about risk to reward, right? So relatively speaking, if each risk unit for you may be $10, $20, or if you go for a share amount, that can, as Sean was mentioning before, it can really tighten up your risk, or you can widen it. Less shares, tighter risk, less shares, wider risk, more shares, tighter risk, right? So that's what he's referring to there. We're in the NASDAQ one more time to see if we can get any form of a bounce, but if these big names find no form of continuation, then I might be fighting the trend. Listen, we'll take our bats on this one, and if it doesn't work out, then by all means, we'll just have to hop out of it. But this is attempt number 2 on the NASDAQ. Attempt number 2 on Riot worked really well for us, eliminating the 2 losses prior to what we had. So that was a nice move. Comes back to our break even. Inverted hammer candle right at the volume weighted average price. I'm like, uh-oh, we have to get out of dodge on this one. And then sure enough, we take that break even stop out. Now we'll move forward and take a look at what we got going on the triple Qs and see if this one's going to pan out for us, not pan W, by the way. Here it is. Boom. Starting to get a little bit of a bounce so far, Katina Man. But I'm going to be looking for at least 73.50 before I decide to take anything off here.
Let's get those bounces going on.
It doesn't look like it. NVDA is sliding. Looks like it wants to put in a new low here relatively soon. With that being said, it's going to make this trade significantly more difficult, so it could be a sell a day. This is going to be probably my final attempt at trying to bottom pick. After that point, we're going to try to just go with the flow.
All right. Thanks everybody in the chat, man. Let's keep it going. We want to do a little bit of a roll call. Let's see who's here with us right now and do that. We are getting out right now of Intel near the high zone right now of VWAP and of the 200 period moving average. As we mentioned, SpaceX a little downside, NVIDIA a little downside, but that don't matter. So who's here right now? Good morning, Sean and Joe, says Andrew. We say good morning right back at you. David's trades and dividends. You know, Joe and I loving those divs, man. We talked about that. What's up to Dead Shot Kit? Everybody there on TikTok, if you're showing up, man, we're yelling you out. There it is. Zeitzelbar. Shout out to you there on TikTok. You seeing our guy Guarever? Is Casey here? Anybody here? There's Casey Mintus here. Positive Insight. T-Money. Let's go. We're going to look at some of those stocks just coming up very, very soon there. I just saw some TikTok people come through there. We want to always shout out some TikTok. What's up to Yeti?
Yo.
We just saw go through there on the T-Talk. Is that what the kids say? T-Talk? No, that's something I never heard that before. All right, so looking at all of that, thank you to everybody. There's Ruins for Ranger, says yo. Northwest Sasquatch. Be careful, man. Those Sasquatches I hear are pretty dangerous.
Very.
Okay, so SpaceX looks like we're going to drop out right now very soon here at 134. Boo-hoo, kind of sucks that it looks like it's trying to find its way lower. For me, honestly, I am very close to just debating not even punching out. We don't have that many shares. I do have just over half of a unit right now, but unfortunately, this is the spot that I've sort of built on and said we're going to stop out if it does break there. We'll hold 25%. We're going to stop out of 75 on a 134.50 break. And it's not even going to be that big of a hit, man, if you're looking at it from that side. And that's kind of what we try to do is minimize some of the risk here as it's still early days, right? It's only 9:52 right now. So, but NVIDIA's fallen right back into a level where I think we'll just buy it again. We've done some decent buys down into here. There it is. Did we get that more? Yeah, we got some more there at 30s. So, okay, we'll take an instant 18 cents on that one and then wait for a little bit higher here as we get into the 60s. But just to reload at that same spot, that we had it. Remember, if this breaks 219, so just to talk about what Joe was saying there, something very similar. Like I already have my out before I even put on the position. So I think that's something that you got to think about here as trading.
You have to.
You can have a slippery slope because I always find myself like I'm buying into things and it's like, oh my God, it just broke, but that's a false break and I get back in. And then you keep on doing that dance. Next thing you know, you lost 4 times the money that you initially had planned. So stick with your plan and be diligent on what exactly you're doing. It looks like we might have got bank error in our favor a little bit as SpaceX comes very close to stopping us out there, literally a penny close. So we didn't get stopped out, so that was good. But here comes right back up to the upside. Let's see if SpaceX can work out for us. But yeah, so far so good on that side of things.
Yeah, so far, I mean, we got a nice little pop up here into 73.40s, but immediately sold right off. And again, guys, I'm talking about NVDA. If this thing continues to slide, we talked about this candle opening up in the middle of the range and then putting in a new low of the day of around 219. If we zoom out and head over to the 30-minute, so, I mean, we've been on a nice little run a couple of days back to back. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back into that 212 marker in which I was referring to on the options chain. The derivatives levels come into play like no tomorrow, if you ask me. And also with that being said, I'll pull up the daily here so you can see what it is like, okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 6 days in a row to the top side. Now you've peaked out. Worst case scenario is that, hey, this is a failed high. We're not going to go back up into this 237 level. And then you come back into the middle of the range. If things get really, really ugly, which I don't believe is going to be the case, don't forget this pop in a couple of the strong sessions. We're off the back that, hey, Elon Musk said we're only using NVDA CPUs. GPUs, I believe it was. So anyways, aside from that, 219, 189 worst case, we're going to look to buy a little bit more. And off of this pullback where I'm going to be looking for it to hold, oh, congratulations, correlation with that 212.50 marker, right where this prior resistance zone is, where we broke out, comes back, retest that, and then maybe we can go. The float on this is so large, it takes so much capital for it to move, and you don't get those crazy continuations. The pullbacks are a little bit deeper than expected because it's like a 23 billion share float or something along those lines, which is about 10 billion, almost 13 billion more than what Apple has. Apple going through a $100 billion share buyback program. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in the coming reports here for NVDA, is that I want to see Jensen start buying back a little bit more shares, to be honest with you.
We unfortunately we do have to hit a little bit of a fail there because SpaceX does dump. I mean, it just broke 130. So we only got it at 25%, or sorry, we only got it at 75%, holding 25%. I just put a bid down there at 134. It just missed us. I was hoping that might spike down, catch a bid, kind of like NVIDIA did, and then get back up to the upside. So I'm going to try to buy some more at 134. But we are out of the majority of our SpaceX. So we do have to say that was a fail on that attempt long. So yeah, woe is me, but I wish we would have, oh well, we still got 25% as it's trying to go upside. NVIDIA trying to go, I'm trying to hold on to this one, and then Intel we've done a great job with as well. So we'll be green today, but it's the SpaceX one that kind of sucks. We're now being the money on it, but let's let this get going. All this has to do for me to get back to positive is basically get back to in and around this 135.50. So if we can sort of climb a little bit here with SpaceX, then we will put an offer up there near 135.50 and then see if we can just get it to run after that. So here it goes, man. Too bad we got stopped out. Our average price was 135.25, so it's right back to where it needs to be. But let's go over to the desk with Adara.
President Trump commenting again here on Iran, guys. Just be aware. Here's the NASDAQ. I'll show you guys USO. I'm not quite sure where he's speaking, but I am seeing some comments coming through from him, and it's not on Truth Social. He says he's frustrated with Iran's negotiating style. They're playing, quote, tricks on the U.S. by engaging in the meeting rooms and then refusing to make a deal through the media. He also is saying again here that the Iranian economy is in a state of chaos. If I get any more details, I'll keep you posted. Also, apparently today we're going to be getting a meeting between the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer and Canada's Trade Minister. Highly doubt there'll be market moving, but just be aware that's also, I guess, happening if you're looking at any of these auto plays, potentially any of that USMCA/Kuzma move. Back to you.
Yeah, nice little bounce there on NVDA. It helped bounce on the NASDAQ. So far we go one for one.
Oh my God.
50% clip rate on that one. You got
no, Marissa's messaging me. Oh, I'm at a Tesla supercharger station. There's 44 bays. She's loving life right now. I should try not to fill it all the way up. Oh, so my car, so I have the small battery. So it's only 430 kilometers.
Yeah.
Like best case scenario, like full, and then you add But anyways, about 20 to 25 bucks charged full. Yeah, but that's a supercharger, which is the most expensive, right? So, okay, by the way, there goes SpaceX right now. So let's go, man. We got that money on SpaceX, but Elon, my guy, got us stopped out there of 75% of it, but it just went to 136. And instead of hitting that stupid emoji thing, we should just hit an offer. But we are there now at the same time, 135.90. We're sitting at right here. But as SpaceX go boom, NVIDIA go blow to the downside right there, taking down that 219. So we stop out. We're flat on NVIDIA after all that, believe it or not, because we did take one little last reload there at 30s, and that one didn't work out, giving us that full unit, and we lost 30 cents on the full unit. So flat-ish now on NVIDIA. But fine with it. It was more like, SpaceX finally got going there off that 130. Like we nailed it. The price was 135. I think that when we talked about that earlier off our sticky note today, 135 right there on SpaceX. It looks like, shoot.
Let's go, Katina, man. Meta is
upside.
ripping
We like
here.
that one. Yeah, Intel's doing good, 265 cents. And maybe we just get back into, oh man, there goes NVIDIA without us. Shoot, man, there goes NVIDIA right without us again, man. That's too bad. We just got stopped out of it. Wow, what a fun morning it's been here. We do have numbers, so let's go over with Adair right now and go get those figured out. Darn it.
I saw that move on Meta, Joe. I'm not seeing any news on Meta yet. If that changes, I will keep you guys posted. But in the meantime, we've got 12 seconds now until existing home sales for the month of July. Forecast 4.05 million. Prior 4.09 million. Also existing home sales change -1% is the forecast prior print here. -2.4%. And at any moment, these numbers should be populating here again, guys. Existing home sales for the month of July. Not a massive number, but certainly one worth mentioning. Existing home sales, 4.06 million, a little bit above the estimate of 4.05 million, but below the prior print of 4.09 million. You've also got existing home sales change, -1.7%, below the estimate there of -1%. Let's take a look here at the NASDAQ. Bouncing nicely here off of lows. That bounce happening, though, of course, a little bit before the economic number. This wasn't a super market moving number. Keep an eye, though, as well on USO as President Trump continues to comment on the state of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran, most recently saying, quote, the Iranians are extremely cunning negotiators because they agreed to something, and then they go out and tell the press they didn't agree to it. Keep an eye as well on a whole bunch of earnings plays. You've got ASTS, Hims and Hers Health, RKLB, a lot of these here bouncing off of lows, though. ONON, I was seeing apparently this name on track for its worst day since its IPO in 2021. So not a great look here for ONON, certainly running in the wrong direction. AppLovin also in focus. We didn't mention this name, but I was seeing, speaking of bad performances, this name in track for its worst drawdown in 3 years and not being helped here by this downgrade from BofA Securities this morning, APP to the downside. They reported earnings last week. Back to you.
And I didn't.
Oh, you got the Intel move, though.
Yeah, Intel's fine. Intel's $1.50 right there. But, yeah, it's coming back in. So there it goes. There goes 98. Now we're starting to go a little bit. I didn't mind the 98 long there on Intel. I'm still, hopefully we get some more coming through there for NVIDIA as it's coming right back down so we don't have to worry too much. Let's just buy a little bit up here. Maybe we're getting fooled about that 98 break, but let's just see if the market does want to get going. It's at VWAP, so we'll just buy a little bit more there, add about 1/4 of a unit to it. It's been a good trade for us so far, so let's just trust sort of our instincts on that one right now. But guys, here's an offer that you should not refuse. This is one that the broker isn't giving you. Markets have been extremely active lately for traders. That kind of environment creates opportunity, big move up, big setups equals more momentum. But to take advantage of these conditions, you need two things, both discipline and access to capital. And that's where Trade the Pool comes in. Instead of being limited by the size of your own account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their strategy and, of course, managing proper risk. No more fear of blowing up your own personal account. No more moving your stop loss too early because you're worried about your own savings. This is what we call limited risk trading. So if you do want to take advantage of volatility in today's markets without risking your own capital, please go ahead and visit tradethepool.com, all one word, and scan that QR code to take you right there on the screen. So scan that QR code and get involved Intel, while we were doing that read, ripped up to 98.40, by the way. So that was a good little move there. 35, 98.35, giving the high of the day as that name wants to keep going. So we did have $1 on SpaceX, and we take it. So there goes SpaceX. That's too bad because we did get stopped out of a decent sized position there. On SpaceX, we had almost a unit there, got taken out. So we take out of 75%. Now let that next little bit go higher, which kind of, oh, sorry, we only had half a unit on SpaceX. It was the NVIDIA trade that we had a little more juice to it. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. Just trying to give this one a little bit of room here to the upside. That SpaceX, we want to be right with it. NVIDIA, we'll take another bid down here if we can get it. I still believe in this name, although it's not really reacting properly, Joe, to what this market is doing. So maybe NVIDIA, we do got to give it a little bit more room. I'm going to give it down to 219.10 and see if we can catch a bid somewhere down there right now for that name. So that's going to be NVIDIA. And then it's Intel trying to work higher off those levels. And I don't want to forget everybody that's, what's up to T-Show, what's up to everybody that's part of Halt Nation right now. So here we go. DRIO, that's one that's halted back and forth. Not much going on there. This WXM, I mean, that first halt right there at 940 does go higher. So I think buying that first halt would have been okay. It did dip against you. But if you just hold it 1 minute, it goes back up there to 1280, gives you those highs again. And now right into here, 950 has been a good buy zone for WXM going off today, that name. So that's not too bad. This KPLT, not horrible with the volume right now, 27%, 28%. KPLT trying to get going just a little bit right there. So that's going to be positive action for them. I'm not really seeing anything else. Oh, WYHG, Wing Yip. This was another name from a couple of days ago that's trying to make some moves back in basing out. We'd like to see that one get above 850 before we go on YIP. So that one's trying to go as well right now. But yeah, that's what I've got going on now. Just long SpaceX, which is working. That's $1.50 in the money, trying to bounce off VWAP. We can put another offer in and around VWAP right now on SpaceX. Why not? Let's just take it right there. We'll take a 40. Ooh, we tried to take 47. There it goes. We got that. So good outs for SpaceX so far. Like I said, this name, it's almost positive for us, but dropping out of 75% hurt a little bit there. And remember what we said, Joe? Like I was getting nervous about, I was saying like maybe we don't want to get out. It looks like that was the bottom. So our spidey senses were pretty good there. They were but at least we were able to hold it. So, all right, your TQQ long is looking sweet.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I mean, helped by Meta. Meta's going parabolic here at this point. 15 minutes, no news so far. The volume stepping in, so the stars are lying. Maybe it'll come in momentarily, but again, it could just be a technical move here as well too. In the bigger picture, you can still see we're trading around that $607 marker, but the volume most definitely stepping in, almost comparing with that opening drive in 15-20 minutes of just straight buying. I would use METU for this. Wow, still going 608, man.
There has to be news, no?
There will. I mean, it's probably somebody knowing something that we are going to be obviously a little bit delayed on. Probably some form of news, but Tesla's starting to pick up a little momentum as well, too, ladies and gentlemen. Back up to 335. I said no need to worry around these neck of the woods. Why? Because you're at levels of October of 2021, so almost 5 years ago at that point. So you can still look for some potential value here in Tesla. You guys know where I stand when it comes to AVs. Robotics, not so much, but most definitely are teachable cues. It took a while for this, 2 attempts to get this ball rolling, and then boom, off to the races we go. Bang, bang. We would like to have more shares. That's the issues of a trader, is that you always want a little bit more, especially when things are starting to work out. But Sean and I's good friend, even though he probably doesn't even know we exist, is Kramer. Kramer stating, own it, don't trade it, even though we love to trade it here. But not participating in this strong uptick here, Sean, is NVDA 219.59. And it looks like it wants to sell off a little bit more here, to be honest with you. Hopefully for your sake it doesn't. Oh, you're not even in it anymore. So yeah, it can do whatever it please. And then Lindenmeyer also going long off of the $500 marker here on MSFT. I'm hearing something about Adara here momentarily, so whenever we're ready, we can send it off to her.
Guys, I still do not have anything on Meta. I put it on the screen for a couple of minutes. There's nothing on Meta. And if that changes, I'll keep you guys posted. But we're seeing this in some other moves. I'm seeing people talk about circle running, etc. So nothing on Meta yet. I need to keep you guys updated. That is not, though, why I'm talking to you guys right now. I have a little bit of a story on Apple. This is not massive. But apparently Apple aggressively boosting their iPhone production in India to hedge against China risks. Once again, if anything changes here with META, I will keep you guys posted, but I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat ask what's the deal with Meta. The deal with Meta is right now, there's just no deal. And if that changes, you guys will be the first to know. And I'll let you guys know. Back to you.
Thanks, Adara. Yeah, well, Adara will be the first one to let you guys know if we catch any of that. We're catching some love on SpaceX to the upside. We can have a quick look. We did reload this, so we have a little thing for that. We are reloaded there on Intel, like the long here today. Let's see if it wants to work. Still upset. We only have one losing. Well, we have SpaceX, but one losing stock today, and that's going to be NVIDIA, where we again basically stop out right there near those lows. But here's that Meta stock that she's talking about, and yeah, it does seem like machines turned on right now for Meta. So is this a spot where we could potentially have a quick little look? Yeah, so we're up to 610. That was yesterday, right? Yesterday morning at 7 a.m. is what we got up to. 7:30 there was 610. The hive yesterday intraday about 11 o'clock there was 608. So, definitely moving around here today is Meta extending its highs. Good short look potentially there for Meta on what we can't really find any news. But yeah, 610 coming into play there. Do we want to try that maybe off of yesterday's levels? We can give it a go here if we're able to get some shares. We'll cross into it. There we go. We get some 10s or 11s there. As we're just going to stop at, what is that recent high there? 610. So let's just go 610.01, honestly. Oh, shit. Okay, that was good, man. We just take $1 there immediately. Let's go. Fill me on that bid right now, man. That's me. Yes, sir. Wow, that's a face slapper. Where's my guy Joe at right over here? That's a good move right there on Meta. We'll take that. Happened real quick, so we got out of half of that right away on Meta. This might not work out for us. I don't know what smacked that to the downside, but what I also have to notice here too is that there is not much liquidity here. It's been a minute since I've traded Meta. Obviously, it's a $600 stock, so you're going to fly around a couple bucks here. But, we just get that short at 25s. If we can cover just a little bit down there, even at O's and then down into 08 and change, because when it falls, but we're also going to get stopped out at 610. So if this winds up breaking 610 right now, I don't know what the slippage is going to look like. That stop order is already in. So just a little nervous hands here as we short Meta against yesterday's high. Looks like that might go against us. We hate fighting trend. So that's not going to be good. So that's why we take that real quick. Look at that, Joe. We just got short and then we took a buck, but now it's going to run us to the high side. And we're going to get out 610. That was crazy. It looks like we will. Okay, there it is. All right. So nice move down. We take a fill there at O's again. I am bidding lower here on Meta. We just got that filled too, I believe. I'm bidding, 608.78 for some reason. So let's see what winds up happening here with Meta. Intel's fallen back in just a little bit. So that could be a trade that we look at here today for it falling back just a bit there. What's going on, Randy? We will look at Ford in a couple of seconds here. I just got a little bit on the plate over here. $2 right now in the money for SpaceX as that's trying to go higher. So yeah, a couple issues there. NVIDIA making some moves. The TQs are still cruising a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to reload this trade for sure. We got Randy in the background as well. Hit the Randy emote there. I would like to get a reload though. Sean at the volume weighted average.
There he is.
There he is. Bang.
What's Randy. Up, Randy?
So you scheduled yesterday
Bo
off.
Bandy.
Bo Bandy. Do you know who Bo Bandy is? The cheeseburger waller.
Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, of course he knows. But other than that, guys, in all reality, I would like to take a little bit of a reload, add some more shares here at 73.80, especially if we're going to get a continuation. Microsoft had a nice little bounce off of that $500 marker, now up to 501. But what's really driving the train seems to be at this point is META up 2 1/5%, starting to come back in there. Nice short, Katina, man.
Yeah,
getting that breakdown, $1.50 over there. Like it was nothing. Nice trade. Hey, listen, I was going to mention this before, is that it's not a bad idea because we've seen what has happened the past time when Meta has these strong pops. They get immediately faded and giving back the majority of that move. So good call out there, brother.
Oh boy, thanks, Joe. Appreciate
man.
that. Look
How's
at
the iced coffee, man.
Yes, coffee is
coffeeing.
Nice, man. Well, I get iced coffee every night.
Yeah, you get
not every, but I like to drink it in the afternoon, I should say. as opposed to pretending like I'm an addict over here. But yeah, there goes SpaceX. What a shame. Like, we wrote it down, man. And sometimes you got to give things a little bit more room, and we do talk about that. But there it is, man. SpaceX 135 long. It's printing right now 138s. 137, sorry, 137.50 there on SpaceX. I like that 98 long on Intel. We were lucky enough to get it at 96 and change. I am flirting with it now at 98, so that's a little bit of a problem. And then NVIDIA, man, that 220 long didn't work, but the 219 did, and we still punched ourselves out of that, which was a mistake. All right, so just getting out some more Intel. Like, I don't know if this is going to work or not on the high side, so let's just get some more out here of Intel. I know it's a loss for right now, but just letting it breathe a little bit. We have a quarter of a unit left on that one. And then, yeah, man, it's just all about this SpaceX trade that continues to climb higher. So just so you guys know, we had 25% left. We now have... I got out of 40% of that, so whatever that math is, we're at like 15% left or so of our initial position now on SpaceX. So it's climbing nicely. I like the stock. I like the trade. Just unfortunately, we did get stopped out there near the lows. Here's one that's moving on. Okay, new entry into the Halt zone.
Oh,
now it looks like it's being plagued by something, but it is PLAG with a move up to $1.30 there, giving it that halt. Tapping right now 129, so it looks like it'll be a nothing burger on the open up. We'll see what winds up happening with that one. And then, damn you, NVIDIA, man. Joe, great trade on the TQQQs long. We like that one here. We have a button for that. But yeah, it's just coming into right there, right? These futures on NVIDIA just came back in. We took it again, stopped out on the break. We always talk about having those stops. And unfortunately, that stop should have been about 20 cents lower, and we would still be jamming. But look what just happened to Meta. It just ran again. So we were able to take out some profit there on Meta. Now we're basically flat on that stock as it's trying to break back above this 10 area. Maybe we got stopped out a little bit too early on it. So let's try it one more time. I'm going to give this one to 611. Okay, on that break side of it until we find a little bit more news, and we don't want to just keep doing this. Remember, we kept on saying like we find ourselves sometimes, caught in something where, we're feeling like we're averaging in and we don't really need to be. So one more try there because I'm emotional. I have emotional damage from NVIDIA and from SpaceX today. So let's give it one more try here on Meta. See if we can get going back in. We're going to bid a little bit of this, see if we can take that 60 cents or so at 09s, and then we'll work on it from there. But Meta short after we just got run, but it was good outs, man. We got some outs there at 08, so hopefully we're a little bit more aggressive with our outs here on Meta if it does wind up, there it is, if it does wind up coming back in. Nice move higher there, looking to stop us out through 611. Whatever that story is on Meta, man, they like it.
They really
and there it goes higher. So, okay, we'll stop on that one. Small hits on Meta, man. Like we basically didn't lose a whole heck of a lot as we were playing with like quarters of a unit there. Meta just going upside.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's up 2.8% here at this point. So, did we find something?
No, I still didn't. But I guess what I am seeing, apparently there's this came out way before the bell, 8 a.m. OpenAI push from Meta puts pressure on private AI valuations. Meta's open source bet. It's stuff we already knew. It's nothing new. And again, the timing of it, there is nothing close to explaining the random surge at 10. If that changes, I'll keep you guys posted. But Circle and Coinbase started doing something similar around then. I couldn't find news on either of those either. So it's not just Meta. Meta's just the most pronounced example.
I mean, on the bigger picture, right? You got to see this name got hit heavy once again, finding it's finally on the road to recovery. 524 holding up. Listen, it's one of my top holdings. I have a big bet, long-term bet placed here on Meta. PE, it's still relatively cheap. One thing, there's clearly a supply zone. There's multiple things. So even if there's no story right now, we've seen it before in regards to getting the big deal with Anthropic, I believe it was, and adding paid tiers to Instagram, getting into the betting markets. There's just one story after the other, and eventually they all got faded. It's just because I believe that all these potential lawsuits are weighing on this company's shoulders. And I keep going back to the example between Apple and Google's antitrust. As soon as that was complete, they paid their fines, the judge ruling in both the company's favor, then off to the races they go. I think that can happen here with Meta because they are also placing themselves in a good position. Muse Spark, relatively cheap here. They're selling compute power as well, too, cheaper than what some of the other names are doing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, once all of the weight is lifted off of this company's shoulders, I think it can go on a big-time run. And a company that is yet to split, Meta has not split, so I'm a big shareholder of this. Around just south of $600 is my average price on this bad boy. So
Nice.
Sean, today we're slightly in the money,
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say,
it's
get
definitely
back
been
to that.
it's definitely been turbulent because I've been in this name for probably over a year and a half, 2 years now at this point. So. Yeah,
What happened to our boy Google? Oh, by the way, I have a new
Google.
position right here. I took the opposite of what you took, so I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
I shorted the TQs up there just now, so we just got a short there at 74.15s. So not bad. We're in 1 unit, so we took a 1 unit there. I was gonna give this one. Basically, we have the 200 period there, 74.50s, something like that. So okay, here we go, man. Okay, it's gonna be a good one, hopefully. Let's cover some more right now, as now we're 40 cents in the money here. We did have a nice little dip down into SpaceX, so we're just gonna try to let this one continue to go here. But it looks like we do have a nice move lower now. Let's go. I hate cheering against because I know Joe has the other way, but
But from a different price.
from a different price, yeah, different price, different shares, everything. So you've already gotten some out, so that was nice. I'm just getting some out right now, so I've only got out of 40%. Let's see if it wants to work, but I think Adara has news.
Yeah, it's nothing massive, and I would love a lot more context on this, but just letting you know, we're getting some comments from, it says Abbott, I am assuming based on context, which we'll get to in a second, that this has to be Texas Governor Greg Abbott, but apparently he's saying that Oracle is committed to comply with data center standards. Now, we know that Oracle has some data center work going on in Texas. That's very likely what this has to do with. Again, no move on Oracle, and super decontextualized. If I get more context, just let you know, but either way, point is we could be getting comments on Oracle live right now. Back to you.
Good stuff. Yeah, I want to point this out here, Sean, because I like what Majid says here in the chat. Love how Joe and Sean are one long and one short on the TQ. Shows you can make money and how you can look at the market. Exactly. We're all displayed the exact same data, but how we relay that and how it's perceived behind our own is completely subjective. I'm in at the lows. He's in at the highs in complete opposite directions, with the both of us having the ability to extract some profits from it. So you can most definitely go long and short, and traders can make money both ways with that.
Yeah, good look there, and we're trying to, prove it. And again, it's not like I saw that Joe was in the long. It just came up to some levels that I liked, so I did.
It's positioning though. Look where I'm in at, right? It's
exactly.
not like you're taking the opposite.
You answered the question perfectly.
It's not like you're taking a short right where I was going long.
And every trader, like you mentioned there, man, everybody has their own ideas, and it's just like we don't display our, the share sizes or anything like that. So we're talking about getting out, we're getting filled, only having 40% left, and we're we're scalpers. So it's like you get in and you get out and you try to do the best you can with the information that is in front of you. All right, NVIDIA did drop down a little bit there, so I am going to take advantage of that. We did buy some there at 30s once again, the same price that we always have. This time we have 37s, but in that zone, we got out at 50s on that first pop. So now we'll wait to see if there is a little bit more action. SpaceX just hovering around this 137, so we'll take another out right there. So that's going to be a good trade to come through with. That PLAG opened up and halted again. So this name here up 110%, not going on much action there. WXM still hovering around as well now. So there isn't like a whole bunch of movement. The one stock that you guys were sort of hollering at us for, and I think that we had missed it, and it's a stock that Joe and I both really enjoy having in our long-term accounts. Google, I don't know what was going on with that there, but a nice dip back in. It's funny because the last couple times I bought was 350 and 320. So that's nice. Yeah, we're adding to the portfolio here and trying to build up our positioning on Google. And I know you're trying to do the same thing there on NVIDIA in the longer term ports. So far, so good there. And everybody's saying HTZ. So what's going on with Hertz Global right now? Maybe we'll get an answer from Adara. This is a small cap name, and we do have a small cap recap happening right about now.
I quickly look into Hertz here. They had their price target lowered to $2.50 yesterday, and they had EPS and revenue beat on Thursday morning. So this is like what this would be day 4 earnings now here for HTZ. I don't have anything else though, unfortunately. WXM, WF International. Now, I didn't have anything on this in Benzinga. Sharif was saying that he saw that they reported earnings when I Googled it. Some outlets were also saying that, but it's super inconsistent. It's kind of hard to tell what's what here with WF International. What I can tell you here about this company, this is a Chinese company. You've got a $12 million market cap and a 580,000 share float. So Chinese company with a very, very small float for WXM. PLAG, a name that I know Sean was mentioning a couple minutes ago, Planet Green, this morning announces their entry into the commercial operations to source, market, and distribute something called lactoferrin for the Chinese market. So this is actually a U.S. company, not a Chinese company, despite this catalyst. $18.5 million market cap, 11.6 million share float. GLE, last but not least, this one giving up the ghost a little bit here, but Global Engine Group in focus, announcing a strategic collaboration agreement with NVIDIA to develop something called Space to AI digital infrastructure platforms here in Sarawak, Malaysia. This company has a $10 million market cap and a 7.8 million share float. Back over to Sean and Joe.
Good stuff. Yeah, a lot of love in the chat, guys, today. And thank you all very much for that. There's a couple here. Get it, Joe, Drew Farrell, love and show Joe and Sean. The others saying straight, but between you and I, but just straight stock talk. That's what we're here about. And we like to have a little bit of fun, too. I know you like the straight talk, stock talk there. The others, but we have a $5 super chat, Katina, man. Joey, I picked up. Joey? I picked up 149 call expiring next week for coin. I'm up 30% with the news they just released. Should I continue to hold? Man, oh man, Coinbase has definitely been, I think a lot of us can agree on the fact that it's been a tough hold as of late. We can pull up Coinbase. You're up 30%. If you only have one of these contracts, anything can happen, right? That's a strong volatility. If you have multiple, I would look to lock a little bit in. Personally, again, not financial advice. You have to come up with your own game plan. But where is the risk to reward? If you ask me, you're down 60% off of the highs plus. Like Coinbase was, Sean, guess, Sharif and I play this. From a percentage metric, you might have looked already, but off of the highs, what are we down on Coinbase percentage-wise? 66%, right? So if you ask me, the risk to reward here is most definitely to the top side. You can get out if it breaks 138, but hey man, there's nothing wrong with taking profits out of this market. It's one of the hardest things to do, and if you have the ability or you're in the situation where you can do that, I would love to do that. Great day, love the show. Dimitri is €5. Oh, we missed another super chat. So that's 10 snow pesos, Katina, man.
Hello.
Just in case you were curious, 10 snow pesos. But there's another euro super chat. €6 here. So that's almost 12 snow pesos. Love you guys. Sean, a quote for life, please. Number 300 stocks, SPX at 108. Wish me luck. We're wishing you luck.
Always a lot of luck. What was that, Andre, my guy?
Send it over.
Okay, we'll go to Adair. We just bought some more Intel down there. Should have got it off to 200, did not. Missed that one, so we're going to wait to see what's going on. We're exiting out some of these Qs. I only have a third left of this trade as it keeps on bouncing off VWAP. And, of course, that's back to the futures on that one. And then let's go.
Let's go. Oh, there goes NVIDIA.
Come on, NVIDIA. You thought you had me, my guy? You thought you had me, my guy?
It's over.
All right. We're having a lot of fun here today. But we got back into NVIDIA. As Sharif, what does Sharif say when this happens?
Give me my money?
Exactly. Give me my money. Oh. Right there. Yeah. Over the desk with Adara.
Keep an eye on Lionsgate, guys. LION, this thing just keeps pushing higher. Semaphore reporting that the company is facing activist pressure to sell itself in the AI era. Again, LION, nice push up here. We're talking like 60 cents for stock like this, fairly significant. Again, as Semaphore reports that they're facing activist pressure to sell itself. Back to you.
Yeah, it's no longer exactly.
Marissa's pissed because she took. Well, I guess we don't ever get the skates sharpened at Sport Check.
Why'd you do that?
I know because most of them have the Sparks, the machines, and she thought they had it.
They didn't have it.
So she gave it in, and I don't know if they couldn't run it through the machine. Her skates are like, they have the titanium black blades, and they're all completely kind of, And anyways, so the guy started doing them by hand, and now she's just like, "Oh man, this is not uneven." But whatever, maybe the person knows what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't hate on that. So just that, skates. Do you have your skates profiled?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
Of course.
Hers are profiled as well there. So you don't want to ruin that, Phil there. But okay, Phil, that's sharp. We're glad everyone's enjoying the show, man. The first thing you got to do is hit the like and the subscribe. So let's get that going right now.
Yeah.
Got to give a big shout out. I mean, do it for Joe. Forget about me. I'm here
never
every
mind
day.
me.
Like, doesn't matter about me.
Right
there. 80, yeah, do it for Adara then. Yeah, forget Joe and I. There you go. 8,200 of you watching. And don't be like me and hit it for the first time, but hopefully you hit it earlier. But be like me and hit it now anyways. So right there, we're going to double check this in about 3 minutes at 10:30. And hopefully some of you have hit the like button for that. And, you know, hit it on TikTok, wherever you are. Make sure you get the reminder that every single day, Joseph, myself, Neil, Adara, Sharif, Sia, we're all on every single day. So make sure you do join us here. No matter what the market's doing, we're going to have it covered for you, long, short. Joe, you're giving me like some kind of feels here. I'm in 4 positions. Yesterday I traded 2 names. And then got into a third one near the close. But yeah, we're long NVIDIA. And it's a good thing we had our Sharif moment there where he said, give me my money. Because now it's like taxing me and taking it right back. But we did get that out at VWAP. So that was a good out there as we hold a little bit back into the end of that trade. And good identification there on SpaceX, I think. Getting out more and more as we had a problem with the 200 period. Moving average, you are falling back in on SPCX. So I want to respect some of these levels at least. So we're going to buy a little bit down here at 135 and change off the 200 period. We just missed that opportunity. So I'm now sitting at 135.70 to get a little bit more. And then I want to try down here again. So if SpaceX does fall back in, let's bid let's not do anything until 134.50. Okay, so we'll buy some here if it comes in right now at 70s. There it is, we're in. And then we'll wait for 134.50. Let's go put a bid down there and give this one a little bit of juice to see if it can get back down. And we only have right now 1/5 of a unit. So pretty light, light days, light work here on SpaceX so far as we look for some more. Oh, there's WXM. WXM just halted down right now. So 887 was the halt down. I think this should be a good halt. It's going to open 9, it looks like right now, and it just happened. So we've got to give this a little bit of time. It happened about 1.5 minutes ago, right there. So whenever we halt into support, it's an interesting level. So if we bounce back higher, I want to take the next halt long. So that's going to be the look there for WXM. Halting now to the downside. Let's see if it holds this bid, and then we'll take the long on WXM. So hopefully that winds up working out for us here. And then we'll just go off of that, right? So yeah, so far so good on that trade. Intel, decent reload. We did say, as Sharif would say once again, Intel, give me my money. As that's making a move higher now. So we'll get some out in the 40s if we could do. There it is. Yeah, good little reload there on my guy. And then the TQs, still doing the same thing. We still have that 1/3 of a unit. Let's get a little bit out here. As this market may be on a run to the upside. You're still in your same positions. That's a great trade there. 85 cents there for my guy, Joe. But I'm just trying to manage all these positions, and it's a little bit much now. So SpaceX, NVIDIA, TQs, and Intel, all with roughly a 1/4 unit on all of them. Pretty much. My largest position is Intel, share size wise, but that's because it's just the cheapest as well, right? So just a $98 stock here. Wow, Intel just flew down. That was not nice. This is the problem with looking at with holding too many shares, too many stocks. You can't look at them all. So I think we got to think about getting some out. Like Intel just flew to the downside there, and so that's creating a problem. So now we got to wait to see what happens with Intel as that's trying to break a little lower. Stop on Intel, guys. Let's do it this break right here, 96.40.
Good look there. I was looking for a potential reload on the NASDAQ, guys, but the way the price action is really starting to formulate here on NVDA, I don't like it, and I do believe it's going to drag the overall market down. I could be completely wrong, but we were discussing this level here at 225, 55,000 contracts. This is clearly acting as a resistance zone on the underlying asset because we've had the inability to break and hold this zone. So we're starting to see some more downwards pressure. Now we'll head over to the actual stock itself and look at the technicals. You can see that there's a flat bottom starting to be formed. If that breaks, then we are going to start to see the teens. And once again, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of this gap is going to be filled, okay? So you do have a gap from 217 all the way down to 213, okay? So watch out for this. Again, I just stand in the camp that the float is so large. It takes so much liquidity and capital in order to move this name substantially. It's something that you need to be aware of, all right? So now as for Amazon, Amazon did find a little bit of a bottom, but here's a name that just popped 30+% off of the lows. Absolutely parabolic Neymar, 27% we should say. So a complete recovery running into all-time highs, and the exact same thing with Microsoft. These names that were beaten to a pulp almost, starting to find some nice recovery. And we're seeing a rotation. And yet, out of all of the indices, the NASDAQ is the only one that is yet to make an all-time high, right? We've seen all-time high in the IWM, in the diamonds, and in the S&P 500. So a little bit tougher of a look, but I cannot and I will not reload here on the NASDAQ unless I see price action change on NVDA. It's just too heavily weighted. Speaking about heavily weighted, Sean, did you know that apes together are strong, right? Apes alone, not so strong. Now, SanDisk, Western Digital, STX, DRAM, and SK Hynix, all positive here today, which can help add a little bit of momentum to the overall market. SanDisk, a name that it was beaten, cut more than in half, 60% almost to the downside. But this is what happens when you have a large amount of participants, and what I'm referring to, and I often talk about on a daily basis. Joe, I'm sick of hearing you talk about South Korea. Well, this is what happens when you go on 1,000+% move, and then you have a large majority of the participants eliminated because they are trading leverage products, all right? This is what happens. You just don't have that snapback and that rebound as quickly as you would be expecting. And that's why I believe some of these memory names, regardless of the bottleneck, if there's no one to buy the stock up, you can have a bottleneck out the wazoo. It's just really hard for it to recover. And shablamo.
Shebang.
Shebang.
Shebang. You know, there's something that he just like, shebang. Like this. Yeah, Darren knows all the words there as Drake, more bangers. All right, here we go. 135.30, shebang right there, $1.21 now in the money. As we say, what's up to Brendan? What's up, Brendan? Hope you're doing well. Over there as, yeah, we're back to Greensville now finally. So SpaceX, they're up. We're positive on SpaceX. I mean, a couple hits right there, took that hit, got out, average. Unfortunately, the average in is working out perfectly, but, you know, that small unit there, small. We actually wind up having one full unit by the time it comes down here, actually over 1 unit. We oversubscribed to that trade by accident, but just over. So we panic out. We have half that position left now as it's been a shebang, SpaceX. It's been a tough one to trade there. So we'll have to watch out for that one. Coming back in, Intel's given me like a little bit of fearsome trading there on Intel 97. Oh, let's see what WXM opened up as, by the way. Okay, let's get ready, man. If this shebangs to the upside, I'm going to trade this one. I just got to make sure I don't punch too many shares. Like, we have hotkeys here that we can change it from like 1,000 to 2,000 to 200 to 20 to, you know, all this kind of stuff. And sometimes you can hit the wrong button, and the next thing you know, like you think you're bidding 1,000 shares and you're bidding 10,000 shares. So be careful with keystroke errors. You often hear us talk about that. I haven't heard you really make a keystroke error in a while, or have you? You're pretty specific on. Do you do it all the time? Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, like, that's like, not as a bad thing. It's just like, that happens to us. We're hitting so many keys. I have 137 fills already.
There you go. So for me personally, it's just like if I make an error, it's just I go the opposite direction because for some whatever reason I just hit the wrong F button.
Yeah, right.
And then, so it's not like, oh, I did all.
You did too many shares. You just went short instead of long.
It's just, exactly. Joe, how do you feel about straddling the big horse? What is that? I don't even know what that is, my friend. That's crazy. I don't even know what that means. Anyways, $20 super chat. Thoughts on crude oil, Katina, man? I'll let you answer that one. Not a big oil guy over here. USO, Brent, all that stuff. I'm not a fan of why? Because it cost me money, Sean, just in case you weren't aware of that. Hangry Wife, Joe, you can lecture me. You can tell me bedtime stories. Okay. Oh my God. You're crazy, Hangry Wife. Let's send things over to Adara.
I'll be brief. Just want to let you guys know if Fed is speaking. And this name might not be that familiar to you. It's Fed's Cheryl Venable. Now, she's the interim Fed president of Atlanta. She's not a voting member, but she's making some comments right now saying that inflation's too high. She's hearing the same message across from contacts across the Southeast. So again, it seems like we've got more Feds being a little bit hawkish here. We do have another Fed that is set to speak at 12 p.m. That is Fed's Goolsby. So let's see if he spooks the market. Again, we won't find out till 12. Back to you.
Whoa, come on, shebang. NVIDIA, let's go. If we can get this going. We just bought some more down here at 219. All right, let me just refresh everything because I got to figure out all these stops, man. I mean, I'm taking too many I'm not taking too many positions. It's just we've got a lot on here. I got to make sure the stops are in. Like I don't even have one in for NVIDIA. So 218, it's crazy. 218.69. Like I feel obviously very uncomfortable whenever I'm sitting here and don't have stops. So let's put them out now to make sure. So we just hit a refresh on our system to make sure. All right, man. Yeah, there goes SpaceX. So we talked about how much we had left, a third of a unit, and so now it's coming back down for that. So a good couple outs there as my stop for SpaceX is in, that's for sure. And that's a break of 133. So we wanted to see if we were getting some good bids in there. I still have another bid down here, don't I? 130, yeah, I do. 133.50 I have. So if it can come back in right into this level there, and then we'll give it 50 cents off that and see if we can get a little bit of a bouncing moment there on SpaceX. So, all right. What's up? We had someone just said there in the chat, we do not ever want to avoid you. $20 super chat. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, no, hell no.
Okay, so yeah, hell no. We're not about avoiding that.
No.
Unfortunately, like I was saying, Joe and I, if you add up all, we've got a couple, like $100,000 or whatever worth of, even more than that, of course, of positions here. So sometimes it does create a little bit of a problem, just like right here on SpaceX. There we get that fill, by the way. So let's go, man. That was a good one. We got back into one full unit now on SpaceX. So we're going to average this out if we can get a let's go and get going to the upside. Thoughts on crude. So do you mind if we just look at USO? We don't have a continued contract on this system, this platform. So it's tough to look at, CL Light. Right now, let's go. We're going to get another piece out on SpaceX. That's, woo! Wow, that's a good move higher. All right, thoughts on crude oil. So when this went this way, I thought that was too far, too fast. I thought that was too far, too fast this way as well. So we actually commented on both of those trades, and I thought that was a good short. And although the long was tough, maybe we thought it was going to get into the 200 period moving average. I think right now you're in an interest rate increase environment, and I don't have to think that is what's happening. So if we're going to start increasing the interest rates right now, I think oil could be a good spot to sort of sit around. However, we still have, I don't want to talk too much macro like that, interest rates, because we do know what's going to happen. And I think you're getting closer and closer. I don't know how you feel, Joe, with potentially something coming from the Strait of Hormuz, like some sort of a deal. I don't know. Maybe it's just like news exhaustion. And we can ask Adara. Adara, I know we're going to go to you, Adara, for something else. We could talk about this when we get back, but I just wanted to get your opinion, Adara, on where from the news headlines and everything that we've been getting, do you think we're any closer to anything with Hormuz or with Iran or no? Okay, so she just said no. We don't have to go to her there. So if there's nothing new coming, man, I think oil's going to get stuck in this range. So I do appreciate the super chat there, and I wish I had more of a directional bias here. But I'm going to say that things are going to get ramped up worse before they get better. I think there could be one more strike of just FU kind of strike.
Yeah.
And that should spike this upside. So for me on USO 135, if we're going to look at oil, what is the current oil contract? Someone might ask, and I'm actually asking it. Let's go to September. Right now, 138,000 shares traded. So our contracts traded. What about $90 right here on crude? That could be a trade. I think that would be a spot that I'd look at. Another outside blow up there for crude on potential problems, resurfacing there in the Middle East.
I'll tell you one thing. My opinion is that Iran cannot stand the West, and I highly doubt that it deals.
Well, that's been like that for
exactly. So it's the issue. It doesn't really matter about what the issue is. These people don't want to make deals with the U.S. I think Donald is just going back and forth with himself.
So do you think that this is going to last until the
significantly longer?
Regime?
How long?
President Trump has 2 more years.
Think about how long everyone thought the Ukraine war was going to be over in a matter of months. It's 4 years. Again, that's why. So, anyways, Adara.
All right.
Yeah, so guys, I do want to get into Sector Watch. I want to start though by answering this question. So here's my thing, is I think the biggest issue is both the US and Iran seem to have the same issues with one another from the comments we're seeing. They're saying that, each side is saying the other side is posturing too much. They're saying one thing in public, another in private. Until that changes, which I don't expect it will, then I don't think we're anywhere near a deal. And I think that's regardless of however the countries feel about each other. I think regardless, you have a situation here from a negotiating standpoint. And I honestly think the whole idea of this has been a longer conflict going on, I think that's kind of a smokescreen. I think in terms of the conflict we have right now, which is between chiefly the US and Iran. I think the issue is that neither country wants to come to the table, or at least, they're saying they don't want to come to the table in the same way in public that they are in private. I think until that changes, I don't think the situation will change. That's just my opinion. And I don't want to get too into politics. That's just my view as someone who reads a lot of these headlines, who watches a lot of these hearings. I will get into the sector watch, but I want to start here with Intel. Apparently, they're saying they gave no shares to roughly 33% of the orders and offerings. That means they only filled 2/3 of the orders in the offering. Again, we got the sense that this Intel share offering of $20 billion was well received. This kind of continues to back that up. So with Intel in mind, let's start with electronic technology. Intel is relatively flat, but you have some mixed performance here. Dell really weak. KLAC, though, up 4%. NVIDIA up about just under 1%. Let's take a look here at producer manufacturing, quite strong. In energy minerals, strong. Again, conflict with Iran in focus. And consumer durables looking pretty good here. Communications looking good. Distribution looking good. Industrial services looking good. Weakness here in tech services. Meta, the one exception, we know this name had that big $600 plus bounce and move from that level earlier today. You had IBM also to the upside, getting some NVIDIA chips. But then you've got weakness in the likes of Oracle, AppLovin, and Datadog, Google, and Microsoft. Retail trade weak. Health tech mostly weak here. And this is actually coming off a session that was quite strong for these names. So yeah, we'll take a look here. We'll have to see what's happening. But kind of a mixed board so far. And even the sectors are not really trading together as a unit, which is also interesting. Back to you.
Wow.
We definitely like that one.
Listen, we took a little scalp. I was telling Katina, man, watch out. It opened up, pulled back a little bit. Just once again, reading the tape, guys. That's what I really like about these names, is just the ability to read the tape because it's so distinct. What's it? You're over there.
The wife is at Costco. Oh no. Shit.
150 to 162.
Stocks better start ripping immediately.
What are we looking at here?
It doesn't matter. The minute she's in Costco, there's a problem.
Steak.
Yeah, strip loin steaks, man. Six times, what is that, 28 grams? I don't know.
265 grams.
Yeah, so how many ounces is that, 8-ounce steak?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Is this a good price, everybody? You guys tell me right now. This looks like this is probably local farmed. I think I'm going to tell her to buy this right there. I mean, for $10 a steak?
That's pretty good.
I don't think you can go wrong there. I'm sure
you're not getting that at farm.
Yeah.
Unless you find the right ones, though. If you get 2 for 7.
It was more like, oh my God. Now she's at Costco. You don't know about Farm Boy? Farm Boy is
I know about Farm Boy. I just don't get the amount that Farm Boy is invoked on this show.
It's just a hot spot. That's all.
Should I start shopping?
But we can understand why we talk about protein so much.
Yeah, Adair, you have to shop. It's fun. It's a good experience.
Okay.
You go there.
You don't know Farm Boy?
I know Farm Boy.
Go to the butcher. You go over here. A lot of Canadian products too, though.
Okay.
That's the reason. Yeah.
How is Farm Boy not a sponsor?
How is it? Listen,
we're literally sitting here calling it the best grocery store in the whole world, basically.
Man. And then, sure enough, maybe we go talk to the manager. I'm a regular there.
Pictures of something else.
What do you got there now? It looks like some bite.
Wings.
Wings.
Is this
how much you got going on there, guys? Okay, so back into these markets, PLAG, Halt. I get out right at that Halt band. So 150 all the way up to 162. We get out of that one. As soon as it opened up, I'm like, let's see. Let's wait for this pullback and then things to turn around and see the strength step into the tape. Boom, off to the races to go. So a nice little scalp. But once again, I would like to have significantly more shares, but that wasn't the reality in which I was sitting in. So I handled the cards that I dealt myself.
You played the cards.
At the end of the day, played the cards. Exactly, played the cards that I dealt myself. Joe introduced Farm Boy to Sean.
That's it.
Yeah.
They said that. Who put that out there?
Ryan Carlos.
Watch this.
What's up?
Bang.
Bang. Oh,
watch this.
Gone.
You need to go for a timeout. You need to go for a 10-second timeout.
10 seconds.
Just 10 seconds.
10 seconds. That's it. We put him.
I'm not that hard. I'm not Sharif sensitive.
I shouldn't have let you do that though, because he is backing me. So if I could unblock the 10-second timeout, then maybe.
Where's Joe's name?
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Don't worry, I got you covered, Brian.
He's got you. Yeah. 10-second bet. I don't even think you can post every 10 seconds. I think
no, you
there's
can.
A timer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's all fun and games, so don't take any offense. Guys supporting, but no.
Let me guess. Joe, someone else introduced me to Costco. If I showed you my Costco bills over the last 30 years or something since we've had these kids, it's absolutely crazy. We did get a note there about AVAV. Good. Okay. I know. that software name, the Zeta Global, I got to do more work on this. People are asking all the time about Z. Go, I'm gonna give that job to you.
What's that?
Stop looking at the chat.
Well, this guy called me a meathead, so I'm like, all right.
Oh,
man.
that's it.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's it. Oh, who I see him right over
Sorry,
there.
but it's open
Joe
up.
is a meathead.
Yeah, you see that one? No, don't do it, man. Let him live.
Let him live?
Yeah, let him live. Yeah. Listen, I'll do the. I'll let him live. So there it is to that guy. PLAG is moving though. It's opened up once again. If anybody was curious here, $1.70. I like it. See, I always get confused if we're talking about $100 names, but $1.70 is starting to come back in a little bit here.
I think the guys on the midday show are a little more sensitive than Neil and I.
Yeah, you guys are good at that. I'm kind of jealous.
Like you guys, I feel like you guys are blocking and you guys are always looking at the chat. And if someone says something about protein, she gets all upset.
Then it's on. It's on.
Or it's like it's on like
immediately. You wouldn't know
there.
who the Crash Out Boys are, would you?
Do I know who they are?
Crash Out Boys?
Probably something on
no,
TikTok.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's the Crash
Sharif
Out
even
Boys,
know that?
man. Maybe.
Yeah, you guys are definitely crashing out a lot. Okay, so right there, averaged out more. We're getting out, man. We only have 20% left of this one. SpaceX is let's go, man. Yeah, we like that one. Coming out yesterday. What did you think of the lunch yesterday? It's almost what's for lunch. It's a little salty. Every time we get that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I added a little salt on it. There
that
it goes
PLAG.
again.
You and I both tried to get long on this.
I know. I tried to go again.
It just rehalted and reopened up again. I tried it, bidding 63s. I was sitting there on the New York book. I was sitting there using BAT-Y and everything. Didn't get it. Good open up there for PLAG, P-L-A-G. I should call it by the right company name because PLAG has a U in it, of course. Planet Green Holdings. Okay. Oops. Sean, can you please do SpaceX technical? Sure. Okay. So yeah, I mean, look, I always say a day ending in Y, right? SpaceX is going to be my #1 stock today, believe it or not. Actually, it's because we had one unit on there on the upside, and we have a unit again, and we're trying to go back upside. So can you please do SpaceX technical on the hourly? Okay. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna call down, and I'm gonna use eSignal for that, just because sometimes our charts will be a little bit finicky when we open back up a little bit on the stock. So let's just zoom out a little bit here. So on the hourly, this of course 200 period moving average. Those are all gone right now. We are starting to go. What did you ask for? Oh, this is PLAG. So that's for SpaceX. Thank you so much. I don't know what I was looking at right there. All right, so SpaceX on the hour. Let's zoom back out here because we don't have too many hours of trade. Yeah, look, I mean, this is what we're looking to break, that 140. Like, that's that whole level that we've seen the last couple of days where it's got really excited. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now because NVIDIA is starting to moon. So that's not moon, but we're having a nice move higher there in NVIDIA. I think the machines are on in NVIDIA. Machines are on NVIDIA temporarily. Okay, so for me on this one, it's a good little look. I think if you're going to get real aggressive with it, this 125 to 126, I think, you know, that's going to wind up being a decent level. That's where sort of that top action happened back into there. So for me on a technical level, I mean, we can call it volume and see, but you're just stuck in a range right now between 130 to 140. So we're trying to break out of that. And I actually think the next breakout is higher. I really do think that we're going to test back into this 150 area where we did have a lot of consolidation. This is 150, 150, 150, and there it goes to the upside. Everybody that's messaged me about bending spoons, like, wow, that stock has been an absolute beast. And I think SpaceX can get back up to its IPO level, and then we make a judgment call from there. So for me, this looks like it's a better bid through 140 than it is coming back into 130. I think we can come back in there and hold it. I think that's a good long with 130, 125. But there's people in the chat that are always talking about like, hey, SpaceX back down to 80, back down to 50. And I think you just got to be careful that, you know, Elon Musk and the rest of the crew, they can get these stocks going. And it's just a matter of like, you know, sort of rallying. As you said, man, the apes are strong together. And you just got to watch out for SpaceX. One good story here, and this thing could really fly. Like, I'm also wondering, and it's the same case here, and this is what I meant by, first of all, NVIDIA, I guess I was wrong about those machines because they completely stopped there again. They just got upside there. I thought it got going there for really no reason. And then there, that level. But I think SpaceX can get going for numerous reasons. And one of the big ones is that Tesla merger. And I think one that we're not talking about here, and this is why I go back to Intel a little bit, is what about a US involvement in SpaceX?
You think that would?
I do. I don't think that that's out of the question that Donald Trump and that group say, you know what, we have Space Force here. Remember, they used to be locked up with Elon Musk, and I don't know exactly how that relationship is. I don't think it's overly healthy, but I think that there could be something there with SpaceX and the government. And put on the tinfoil hat. I don't even think that's really tinfoil-y. They've invested in MP materials, trying to protect rare earths, right? They've talked about investing in Intel. They want to keep some of the growth shoreside, also protecting NVIDIA's chips from going over into China, right? And very protectionist of some of the resources that they have, and SpaceX being obviously a strong American business. I could see the U.S. government potentially taking a stake in SpaceX, and that would be something that really rallies the stock to new limits that you won't even like. I'm not saying like get back to that 225, but the day that that's announced, I really think everything gets turned on and up jumps.
Get a deal with Space Force
right there. I'm just gonna get out. Like TQQQ has been a pretty profitable name. Just hold on a second. I'm just gonna get out right here on the high side of that. So now we're flat on TQQs. We're at the absolute highest spot we've been at all day net wise, which doesn't normally happen. Well, lately it's been happening, but we've been holding 3 or 4 names all day, and that's SpaceX right now. That's $1 in the money. NVIDIA's 50 cents as that's trying to go. I think we can get a bigger winner there. And then, our boy Intel trying to go as well. So we've been really having some good fun today, playing off some good levels. And Sharif, I used your line of give me my money or give me my money on one of those trades as Sharif sits back down into that there. Not raining, right? It's quite nice outside. Quite gorgeous outside right now. So Cerebrus coming with earnings very soon. We got to go to Adara back at the desk. It's Money Talks.
Not too much to say about money, guys, but I want to prepare you for what's going forward this week with economic data. So let's do that. This U.S. dollar is still, you have this at this point, kind of a triple bottom on this prior resistance level at 99.4. Today, relatively green, not too much to speak of when it comes to technicals, but tomorrow, CPI, that's going to be coming out here at 8:30 a.m. CPI core and non-core. We're actually expecting a little bit of an increase here, so a little hotter than prior when it comes to core CPI month over month, but core CPI year over year expected to be a little bit cooler. CPI month over month also same with the core, a little bit hotter than the last month's print. CPI year over year expecting a little bit cooler. So again, we're looking for hotter or an increase here, a heating of month-over-month CPI, but a cooling of year-over-year CPI. That's kind of an interesting look, and we'll have to wait and see if that actually comes to fruition or if it's just estimates. Then on Thursday, we're going to be getting PPI. You are expecting a cooling, again here, cooling year-over-year, heating month-over-month for PPI, so that's going to be an interesting look here. When you look forward, right now, basically 50-50 when it comes to the rate decision in September, 50.1% chance here of a hike, 49.9% chance of a hold, so that is a dead heat. If you look forward, we're seeing again still very likely that we'll get a hike in October should we not get one in September, then another hike potentially in April. But now we're expecting if we get the hike in April, we could actually get a rate cut again in December of 27. So I'll have to wait and see here. I'll keep an eye here on this market, see if there's any updates news-wise here before we send you back over to the guys. Not seeing anything, we'll send you back over.
Okay, wife also picking up a 5-pack of salmon right there. So we got to get bullish on Costco as definitely spending more money than I'm making here. So I gotta have discussion.
You're gonna have
okay,
shares.
So SpaceX, up the shares, a good one. All right, so SpaceX right now trying to go, and by the way, we got a super chat. I don't know if you saw that, Andre. If we could throw it up, or maybe we already did. It was about SpaceX. So there is one in there. And there it is right there. Long play this morning. Thank you, Sean. You're a beast. Great look. So, Gus, I mean, whatever. I'm just putting on the trades. In order for you to make money, you got to put them on. So I say congratulations to you at that one. I agree 1,000%. Shout out to TikTok right there. I think that SpaceX does have a 150 handle on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it hits that next week. So SpaceX 150. I like it. I really think they could even hit it tomorrow right now.
160?
And it's not, well, 150 first is what I think. And then, because it's not that far off. What, 6%? And you're back up there. So I think that there's something there. And honestly, man, everybody in the chat saying Trader TV Live loves pumping SpaceX. I think since the IPO, I've made more money going short on SpaceX. I don't think that's rocket science to say that. I mean, this has been a good short for SpaceX. Sure, we called the 105, we put that down as a low, right? And actually hit that. But for me, we don't, everything that we're trading here, I think we should just say this. I think you guys all know this. Like, this is all individual decisions, right? We don't have anything running in the background that's telling me to buy or sell anything right now. This is a prop floor. So those of you guys that are on prop would know, right? This is like an eat what you kill situation. And so just like how Joe was long on TQs and still is, and I've gotten out of it, and you know, who cares who's made more money on it? We each trade our own accounts. So if I make $100 and Joe makes 200, you know, that's in his pocket, that's in my pocket. You know, we trade completely different. We all get paid, obviously, as individuals, not as a team here. So whatever anybody makes is completely their own risk decisions and all of that. So whatever size everyone's using. The only thing we have to say is we do have different buying powers. You know, I've been here for almost, 25, 26 years. Joe's hitting on two only.
Two and a half.
4 years, so there you go. So 4 years. So anyways, you build into your account. I mean, I think that happens on all prop floors anyways, right? So
25, definitely here 24, man. Yeah.
24,
yeah.
Good. Well, we're so glad to have you anyways, regardless. So yeah, thanks for Joe for being here. And
PLAG halted again.
Did it? Yeah, PLAG did.
Up to 180.
Oh, that was okay. I don't know if I would have taken this one, but yeah, PLAG is a new runner there. Plant, what did I say it was called? Green Plant again? Planet Green Holdings there with that upside play. And then the other one today is WXM, which unfortunately it's underneath view up. We were really hoping that this halt rate here would have created a little bit more action, but it doesn't look like that is the case at all. So, all right, I'm going to say bye to Joe. So
yeah, man.
Everybody in the chat, can we go on the double screen? I want everybody in the chat in 3, 2, 1. I want everybody to wave at the screen and say bye, Joe. Okay, ready?
Wait,
so get there. Everybody get ready. So no, not yet. 3, 2, 1. Bye, Joe.
Bye,
Thank you for coming through today.
See you in
Enjoy the midday. I'll see you very soon. Hopefully lunch
seconds.
will be a productive one there. So there we go. Everybody saying that. And also happy birthday, Joe.
Thanks, man.
To that as well. So we say bye-bye to Joe. And we say hello to dollar clubs. So right now, that's a good dollar club on NVIDIA, as that just pop goes the weasel. Like NVIDIA is more of a trade. Like, I'm proud on SpaceX, but honestly, I was a little bit thrown off by this SpaceX move, or this NVIDIA right there. So all we did, man, was just put on our big boy pants and just got right back into these names, right? And started to believe in them. And we talked about having that confidence in some of your trades and not having to go from one stock to another stock to another stock. Although I did trade 5 stocks today. My worst stock today is going to be Meta. And that's just kind of hovering around. They went parabolic there. We took some small hits. We got some small winners. What we lost on Meta is, we've made more on NVIDIA. We've made more on Intel. We did not make more on the Qs. And SpaceX, we have made more on it, but I'm hoping that this can be a position pending name with 135 coming and going in just about a minute. So there we go, man. Everybody loving that goodbye, Joe, there. So that was a good one there. Shout out to Golf Franchise. You want me to look at this might be a name for the midday, VFLO, which you're about to throw it over there. Oh, no. Okay, this is a big one. I don't know anything about this. VFLO, Victory Portfolios, Free Cash Flow ETF. What's up, Golf Franchise? I'm up almost 20%, but it appears to be hitting another leg up. So did I write that down right? VFLO. All right, I don't know much about this name. Maybe we'll have to do some work. Free cash flow. I don't know. So if it was based on cash holding ETF, it definitely wouldn't look like that, as that's not what the interest rates look like.
Yeah, I'd have to do more research into this, and I will when I get back from my break. But apparently, they just track, I guess, this free cash flow index, which I didn't even realize was a thing. So I'll look more into this. But it's an ETF that tracks an index, just like we have the SPY, the NASDAQ. It's just a much more obscure index. So as I look more into this, I will keep you posted. Yeah,
very interesting name there. And I guess if that's monitoring the amount of cash that's out there in the world, as the stock market gets a little higher, we could start seeing some traders go back into cash, especially with the interest rates getting higher. It makes that yield a little more attractive. So you're up already 20% on it. You've obviously done your due diligence. I would say keep holding. I mean, I would think free cash flow is going to get higher as more people might deploy cash into shorter term securities. And I don't know if that would affect this name. As I said, I'm not in it and I don't know. All right. I'm going to wait for 135. That's my next outs there on SpaceX. It's been a blast. Thank you to everybody who came through today, right? We put that challenge out to see if we could get 1,000 likes on the stream. Let's see if we did it. We got 1.2K, so my hat's off to you. That's another show, followed by another one. And then Joe and I are back. Another one. And we will say, hopefully Neil's tendinitis will get better. We hope that he's coming back very, very soon. And I can only imagine, man, that must suck because our elbows are always hitting the tables here too. So a little bit of violence there. So we say, get well, Neil. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. It was a great pleasure of mine and honor to do the show with Joe. So let's throw it back over to the midday show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Joe, again. Thanks you to Adara. Thank you to everybody in the back there running the ones and twos, especially my guy, Andre. So we'll go back over to the midday, and I will see you guys back at 2 p.m. Thank you for enjoying the show. There goes SpaceX.
Whoa.